This offer isn't going to last very long. Eaton Speed Sandbar and Grill will be filling up fast because their friends from the north are headed back that way soon. The good news is that seating is now available and Dave's buying the first drink. If you've been hearing about the crowd at Eaton Speed Sandbar and Grill and couldn't get in, now you can see firsthand what your friends have been talking about. Great food. Try Chef Dave's tantalizing Floresiana menu. Great location. Check out those gorgeous sunsets over Lake Weir. Great people. Starting with Chef Dave Del Rio, who began his career in 1978. This spicy guy has been instrumental in opening over 100 restaurants. And he's buying you a drink. Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill, where there's little or no waiting these days. Come see what started out as Jay Eaton's dream almost 90 years ago. It's more awesome than ever. Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala and Bellevue. Prestige, it's all there in our name. Imagine yourself in a quaint bistro right in the heart of a charming French village about to indulge in real French cuisine. Located in beautiful, vibrant downtown Ocala, La Cuisine offers authentic French cuisine and wine from an award-winning menu. Patrice and Elodie moved to Ocala in 2009 because they fell in love with it. And you're going to fall in love with La Cuisine if you haven't already. La Cuisine offers a quick bite for lunch or a leisurely dinner in a comfortable and relaxed setting. So call La Cuisine of Ocala today at 352-433-2570. It's like a direct call to Paris. Stay with us and sleep better at the Sleep Inn and Suites of Ocala Bellevue, located next door to Don Garlett's Museum and a few minutes from Florida Horse Park. Our award-winning, newly refreshed Sleep Inn and Suites offers comfy, clean rooms, free fast Wi-Fi, and service with a smile. Start your day with a deluxe hot breakfast and unwind in our heated outdoor pool. Our convenient 24-hour fitness and business centers allow you to stay on track whether you're here to play or to work. That's Sleep Inn and Suites, Ocala Bellevue.
Proud sponsor of College of Central Florida basketball.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. More snow and freezing rain expected in the eastern half of the country, and what's left from recent snowfalls isn't helping.
We've established enough of a snowpack now across the northeastern quarter of the U.S. that's going to further keep the temperatures down.
Patrick Burke of the National Weather Service. President Obama talking trade in his weekly address, pushing Congress on a new bill.
This is bipartisan legislation that would protect American workers and promote American businesses with strong new trade deals from Asia to Europe that aren't just free, but are fair.
In the GOP address, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson calling for more cybersecurity rules.
The only way private sector organizations will share this critical information is if they are protected against lawsuits filed against them as a result of their sharing information.
A tentative labor deal reached covering West Coast dock workers, but experts say the logjam of ships delaying deliveries could last for weeks. Fox News, we report, you decide.
I'm Lex Friedman. I run my own business, so I know from experience, hiring new employees can be tough. Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 50-plus job sites, including social networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. And with ZipRecruiter's premium traffic boost, you can get up to 3 times more candidates. Quickly screen applicants, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 200,000 businesses. Right now, our listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. Plus, get 30% off your first traffic boost by going to ZipRecruiter.com/info. That's ZipRecruiter.com/info. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/info.
Plank, that's Lincoln Kennedy. And as always, you can hit us up at 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. On Twitter, several different ways, at Fox Sports Radio, at L Kennedy 72, and of course, at Anthony El Gargano. Since Anthony's out, we'll still plug it up, man. He's battling the weather out there in Philadelphia. And I hate it that he's not here today because I wanted to listen to him give us the game plan for what the Sixers were doing at the trade deadline. But if you're just waking up and getting around this morning, we spent a lot of time in hour number 1 talking about Pacquiao Mayweather. It's happening May 2nd. And hey, Link, what a day May 2nd is going to be. The last day of the NFL draft. You've got the Kentucky Derby. Now you got Pacquiao Mayweather. I would assume the UFC would try to do something to counter it. That's going to be a great day for sports. And I'll add to this as well. It's not only a great day for sports, it's a great day for fight fans who have been waiting. We've been waiting for something like this. We've been counting down to it, and you have the opportunity to finally see two of the biggest names in boxing go at it. It's going to be a great night of fights, I think.
Well, that's smart. That's right. So if you want to be smart, if you're UFC, don't try to go up against it. Pattern some stuff around it. Maybe the day before, the day after, rather than hitting your head against it. Because as you mentioned, you've got the Kentucky Derby, you've got this, you've got the draft, this fight, you've got the draft. You also have NBA and NHL hockey playoffs that will be going on that time too. So don't get in line to try to bang your head up against the wall. What seems to be, it's definitely going to be a blockbuster. Because I admit it in the first couple hours, I'm not as enthralled or enamored with it. I will be watching, but I'm not looking for it like I was, say, 5 years ago. But this will be on everybody's set, or people will be in front of it. It'll be a very, very big watch.
We shall all find a way to watch in some way, shape, or form. NBA from last night, I don't want to say a signature win, but I think a gut check win for Golden State from the perspective of just coming out and boat racing a San Antonio Spurs team that they appear to be not just kind of better than, much better than here in 2015. And they continue to just improve. I didn't think it was possible. I thought at some point you'll see a slide from this team. At some point, listen, 43-9, that's incredible. At some point, Link, you'll see a slide. That doesn't appear like it's going to happen for Golden State anytime soon.
Well, I do think it was a statement win, Chris, when the fact when you look at the way Golden State played last night against the defending world champions, sort of a precedent, a higher standard has been set with Popovich or Popovich-like teams around the league just for what they've been able to do. And, of course, rightfully so, with what Greg Popovich has been able to do with that organization. But Golden State is a championship caliber team that has to show not only to itself but to its fans that we're not going to slide. We're not going to take for granted our record. Right. We're going to beat down who we need to beat down. And that's why, to me, it was a statement win.
And, of course, the third big story, in addition to college basketball today, we talked about the Carson, California conversation yesterday. Link gave his opinion. You now have, I guess you could say, 3 teams in a chase towards L.A., though I love the take that Mark Davis had at Tim Kawakami, when he said that 3 times real fast, huh? Yeah, my bad, Tim. I'm sorry, bud. But we're not really in a chase anywhere because we want to stay in Oakland, I think was the way that Mark Davis had put it. So you have billions being discussed about this new stadium in California. You have 2 rivals that are working together, and in the end, it's still a proposal. In the end, LA's no stranger to these kinds of announcements. There was, a couple downtown stadiums. You had the IMG stadium that was going to be built. You've had
Farmers, all that stuff.
Farmers, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I think this was the 5th press conference they've had about potentially bringing a team to LA. I see this one different, though, and maybe it's my want to see a team return to LA having been absent for 20 years. But, Link, I see this different because you have 2 teams that aren't asking for city or state funding. You have 2 teams that basically are saying, hey, we'll buy the land, we're going to build the stadium. And it's kind of unique in some of the proposals we've seen so far.
Look, everyone should be, all the fans, Chargers, football fans, Raider fans, Ram fans should rest that still there, even though there's a proposal out there and there's been things that's been put on paper, there still has to have a lot of things have to line up in order to make this happen. It's not something that's going to come over easy. It's not something that's going to go by the owners easy.
And only one team has not really given the assurances to its city that it wants to be there. Mark Davis has, and I see this is now hitting on Pro Football Talk and other places. I think we were talking about it early in the show, and it's kind of been widely speculated. Mark Davis wants to keep the team in Oakland, but he wants a new stadium, and they need a new stadium. The O.co. They need a new stadium.
I know.
Let's just leave it at that. I love the story about Reggie McKenzie when he came to jog one time. When he first got the job, he was jogging around the field and he was hitting metals. There was pieces of turf coming up, and there were metal spikes in this. It's a mess. They deserve something better. Yeah. And Mark Davis wants to keep the team in Oakland, regardless of what San Diego's people are saying. Kevin Faulkner really kind of went all in against San Diego. Spanos basically said they want to keep the team in San Diego as well too.
Absolutely.
But the only city that really hasn't heard that from an owner is St. Louis. Stan Kroenke hasn't said anything.
Well, I don't think Kroenke, even though he owns the Rams, I don't think he sees St. Louis as a moneymaker. And as I said, look, people, it's simple. I said in the last segment, it comes down to two words: Super Bowl. When you can host a Super Bowl, when you have potentially the ability to host a Super Bowl, as Minnesota will get in a couple of years, Houston will go back to Houston. It's going to San Francisco next year. San Diego has hosted a Super Bowl in recent times. This is where your big moneymaker comes. And the NFL has promised these new stadiums, hey, we'll get you a Super Bowl. You build a new stadium in your city, we'll get you a Super Bowl. That's been the sort of the incentive for the cities to get up off their butts and make it happen. I see this move, this release, this idea, this philosophy about Carson for these two teams, the Chargers and the Raiders, as being one of those moves where you pull your ace card out of your back pocket and say, look, man, I got this to play. If you don't get up and do what you're supposed to do, this can happen. And sometimes you have to do that.
And it's legit. It's not a pie-in-the-sky thing. When you have two teams that are going in together, or at least I got to watch myself here, Lincoln. It appears to be legit in basically two teams that are working together. So I hope – I don't want to see the Raiders leave Oakland. I don't want to see the Chargers leave San Diego. Hell, I don't want to see the Rams leave St. Louis. That's my hometown. But somebody's going to end up in Los Angeles, if not two teams. Now it's on those cities to respond, and I don't know if there's anything St. Louis can do because, like you said – they're not bringing the Super Bowl to St. Louis. It's just, it's not happening.
Bro, I'll just be upfront and honest. I don't want to work out of Carson. I don't want to work out of Carson. All right, I just call it like it is. Like, I work for the Raiders call games. I don't want to go to Carson. I don't want to be in Carson.
Got to at least fly in, Big Link.
Oh man, I come into the city and enjoy with the best of them, bro. But I don't want to go to Carson. No, man. No.
You don't want to sit next to the float,
bro. Nah, bro.
To the hot air balloon.
I know people in Carson don't want to be in Carson. Come on now.
But I brought that up yesterday. We were having a debate about that, and I'm like, Carson's in the middle of nowhere, and I was quickly beat down to say, but it's close to Orange County. I don't know if that really does much for you, does it?
It doesn't. Okay. It's in Southern California traffic to get to the OC. Nah, man. and I know there's a lot of contingent. There are a lot of Raider Nation faithful that are living in LA and how they want to see their team. I know what it's like, bro. But Raider Nation, the true purists, and then with earshot of my voice, know that the heartbeat of this team belongs in Oakland. It's just hands down. I know you, for selfish reasons, you want the team there, but I know many people who make the trek up to Oakland every week to see games, or weekends to see games, and that's the way it should be. Oakland is the home of the Raiders, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, and Carson's not one of those quick drives. If you were a San Diego fan, it's 112 miles from Oakland. It's like a 7-hour drive. At least
Southwest, you fly to Orange or whatever it is, and they make it from over there, but still no.
Well, and again, this is one of the biggest stories going in the NFL right now. We talked about Johnny Manziel last hour. We're going to get into the Peyton Manning conversation with John Elway, kind of seemed to try to silence yesterday, and then even the conversation involving the future of Marshawn Lynch, which I think John Schneider tried to silence yesterday, but you're looking at a scenario where 3 NFL cities are now battling for their NFL life. And here's the other angle to this, and we'll wrap up this first segment on it. 32 teams is the perfect number. So St. Louis, San Diego, Oakland, if you lose a team, the NFL isn't going to do like what happened in Cleveland, to where they're like, you know what, let's bring an expansion franchise. There isn't going to be that battle because this is the number, right, Link? I mean, we're not going to see another team added to the NFL, so it's
you're not going to add
time.
No, because they've got uniformity. They've got 4 teams in every division. There's 132nd of the pie. No, they're not going to add any more because you ruin the flow if you do. Think about it. Where are you going to put an extra team or 2 teams? Then you have 34. No, it's not going to be. The NFL has learned from the sports around them. They learned from basketball and hockey. Too much of expansion too fast hurts you. They've learned from with the non-guaranteed contracts. They control their flow. They control their moneymaker, and they have the potential to maybe take one of the existing teams overseas to London. But you will not add any more teams, in my opinion.
Yep, I would agree. All right, 877-99 on Fox. It's the fellas on Fox Sports Radio. When we come back, it was an interesting week at the Combine. Some storylines that we imagine will carry us through the offseason gained a little bit more momentum. We'll talk a little bit about Peyton Manning, the mess in San Francisco, and Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston next, right here on the fellas on Fox Sports Radio.
Fox Sports Radio. We're so grateful to you, the fan.
Hi, this is Jason Smith. Thank you.
And we just want to say thank you.
Thank you for being such a fan.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for taking us to your home.
Hi, this is JT the Brick. Thank you.
And especially to your car and office.
Hey, I want to let y'all know.
Hey, Arnie Spanier here. If you're in the market for a new car and you want to have an amazing new experience buying it, you need to check out TrueCar. Man, I remember one of my first cars, cherry red convertible, my hair blowing in the wind, and the women checking me out. You could find the car just like that, my friends. All you have to do is go to TrueCar. With TrueCar, all you need to do is choose that new car, built it inside and out, and then TrueCar shows you what others paid for it. It's a fun way to buy a car that helps you be sure you never overpay. Once you decide on that car you want, you can connect with TrueCar certified dealers and lock in a guaranteed savings off MSRP, usually over $3,000. Pretty sweet. Again, if you're in the market for a new car and you want to have an amazing new experience buying it, you need to check out TrueCar. Save time, save money, and never overpay. Download the TrueCar app today.
Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost you thousands. But with the PMI Advantage from Quicken Loans, you may never have to pay those expensive monthly mortgage insurance premiums again. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I'm excited to tell you that the Quicken Loans PMI Advantage is our lender-paid mortgage insurance program. You see, we pay the PMI so you don't have to. Make the smart call and talk to one of our home loan experts today at 800-QUICKEN. You'll learn how the Quicken Loans PMI Advantage can give you more options, more flexibility, and may save you thousands when you refinance. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And this year, for the first time, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. To learn more, call us at 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN, or visit us at QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
Where did you sit when the dust settled?
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall.
Where did you sit when the tempers flared?
And now it appears we may have a fist fight. Drivers and helmets.
Or when standing ovation took on a whole new meaning?
All the pit crews out on pit lane to salute Dale Earnhardt, who is...
Well, from where we sit, this Daytona 500 is the chance of a lifetime. Because this is your final opportunity to experience the great American race from some of the classic seats that have witnessed some of the most famous moments in racing history. And it's your first chance to say hello to the future in all new grandstands where fans will bear witness to all the legendary moments yet to come. So where will you sit this February 22nd? Don't miss your one and only chance to experience Daytona at a unique moment in history. The Daytona 500, Sunday, February 22nd. To guarantee your seats, call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit Daytona500.com.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready to update your look with the latest trends. It's the perfect time to brighten up your look. So make your appointment now for those highlights and Brazilian blowout. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
What are the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking? will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Is your credit headed in the wrong direction? If so, Florida Credit Union can help turn it around. If the signs are reading missing payments, maxing out cards, or borrowing from financing companies, it's time to steer your credit to safety. Pull into a Florida Credit Union today and let us help you map out a personalized credit management plan. Get a free credit report analysis and advice to help you consolidate wisely. A better plan can get you to a better place. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Do you have that will to win?
Did I win?
Because you know we do.
Yes! We win!
I'm doomed.
Oh my God.
We gotta win! Giving you the love, the passion, the commitment.
This is what we're going to have on the show.
It's refreshing.
And the will to win.
How do they keep winning?
Right.
Now let's go. Approach and identify.
We are Fox Sports. Fox Sports 1. Tonight on Fox Sports 1, Monster Energy Supercross travels to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Maybe at the club, maybe at the bar. I want to show you off like a trophy car. Cause anything's better than
Fox Sports Radio, Lincoln Kennedy. Anthony Gargano's off today. Chris Plank's happened to sit in with me. We are the fellas. Having a little fun, talking a little action. Hey, Chris, I know we're going to get back into combine talk, but I got to say, bro, I don't need to turn on the TV and see one more defensive lineman pull his spandex up like, some track star. I don't need one more offensive lineman to do a belly roll before he's getting down to doing a 40. It's just things that you just don't need to see in the morning. It's not even G-rated. And to be honest with you, it's wrong. That's why I don't even follow the combine. It is what it is, man. It's a violation.
I would agree.
Major violation, Big Link.
I'm telling you, bro, this is what you get. This is what you get highlights of when you go to the network and you're looking for NFL news. They're going to say, well, let's check in and see defensive lineman number 40 run the 40. And all of a sudden he's got his spandex pulled up like you're not a track star, dog. You're not going to run 40 yards anytime. Don't act like you're fast. I don't care what the time says. Don't act like you're fast. Stay in your lane, bro. Pull your pants down and run right.
Yeah, that was the if you really want to be somewhat disturbed, you can see offensive lineman Robert Myers. I just retweeted this from the NFL on Fox Twitter feed. His thighs literally burst out of his short shorts.
Oh.
He looks like he's wearing tidy whities, and bless his heart, it's what they make you wear. But I guess that's my biggest confusion, and I'm with you, Link. Why do we have the offensive linemen run 40s? What do you really gain from that?
You just want to see who's got some. You know what? In all honesty, especially when it comes to the big guys, it's athleticism. And you take it to a certain standard, a degree. When you think about it, if you have the fastest one was from the Division III offensive lineman, 300-pounder that ran sub 5. It was like 4.98. Okay, he's got some quickness about him. He's an athlete. Possibly, those are the type of eye openers, and to me, that's what the combine's for. The no names that you don't necessarily get a lot of film on, that you see what they can do testing wise. That you have to go pick up a film and say, hey, let me take a look at this guy. Maybe I have a place for my team on him. And for the big names, it's just to show why you're a big name. Don't shy away from any challenge. The quarter, you got nothing to gain but everything to lose if you're a quarterback. Go to combine. That's a bunch of bull. Mm-hmm. Go to the combine and throw to people you're unfamiliar with. Showcase what you do. Show that you're not scared of everything, anything. You want to put, I'm going to wait for my client to get his pro day. He's not going to have that in the league. What are you going to do? Call up your receivers? Hey, man, we're going to play Dallas this week. Can you come over and catch the ball so coach see what I do? No, it don't work like that. So put them in an uncomfortable situation. That, to me, is what the combine's all about.
Right, and you brought up how someone had asked you if you ended up with a pair of pink underwear, would you wear it? You know, it's
exactly.
they try to find how you handle adverse situations and make you uncomfortable, which a lot of people like to do in radio. It's like, I'm going to make you as uncomfortable as I can. But this is, as Jameis Winston put it, this is his first real life, real world interview. And I think sometimes this moment is perfect, by the way, for Jameis. If you followed his collegiate career, I know there's a story breaking this morning that we'll get to in just a bit, which I kind of find is a little bit of hogwash, if you will. But I think for guys like Jameis Winston, who are outspoken, who have a personality, these and if you don't like the Jameis comparison, I think it was good for a guy like Derek Carr, who has a great personality about him, is very grounded. I'm still thankful to this day that he wasn't a first-round pick because I think a lot of people missed on him. Maybe it's not even a setting for Johnny Manziel, who's got a great personality. These press conferences, some of these one-on-ones, these are great for guys like that. Others, you learn about a lot about how they handle that situation. Maybe they're not good whenever it comes to being in front of the media. Doesn't mean, Link, that they're not a good football player. It just means there's certain areas that they need to work on whenever it comes to being in uncomfortable situations or handling their business off the field.
Chris, the step that you take from college and high school to the pros is now your body is a business, more so than any other time in your life. And you have to be the complete investment. You know, for guys who can't talk well in front of a camera, who can't talk well in front of other people, now's the time you get some coaching, you get some side, you work on it, because there's going to be a mic that's thrown in your face. And it's time to step up. Your body, your mind is an investment. Now, you could take it for what it's worth. Well, you know, I only assigned this guy to play football. Well, that's not necessarily true, because you do want to hear from that guy. This is what the NFL wants. Maybe not what the player wants. This is what the NFL wants. We want their stars to shine and be in conversations. And now, so you become a total investment. If a team's going to invest millions upon millions of dollars into you, then you have to do what's right by you to keep that going, because it's only going to be short-lived. And also more so, you know, to add to the Jameis Winston fiasco, what most fans don't realize is that this is the day and age where you can use media like you see on those programs, you know, how we're going to let this leak out and see where it runs with it, because you could drop somebody's stock to make it more favorable, more advantageous for you, a team who might be interested in a player. You don't want to let anybody know your hand. Don't want to show your hand, but if you're interested in making a trade to jump up and get a player, and you know there are other teams in a way, well, you might want to make this player seem less lucrative or less appealing to you by letting stories like this slip out. Oh, well, I heard when he was in the third grade, he slept with his babysitter. And to see what the media runs with it. See how much it takes. You see what I'm saying? These things go on. It's a chess match. The combine has turned into for many GMs.
I think we're seeing this happen with a current player as well, too. And I want to get into that coming up later on in the show. But let's continue with the point on potential bogus information to see what's real and what isn't. A scout, which again is very much, oh yeah, so a scout said so it must be true, right? This is according
like it's on the internet, it's true, right?
Right, exactly. Hey, Wikipedia said so it's got to be true.
Right.
NESN.com, which is in Boston, is running with this morning, and apparently there's some serious concerns about Jameis and his shoulder. Now, this is kind of unique because Jameis is projected as the number one pick, and unless someone's hoping that he falls to them, Tampa is going to overdo their diligence, if that's even a term. They're going to do everything necessary to make sure that they're getting the right guy. So I don't know where this would come from or what the point would be, but here's the story, and this is kind of breaking this morning. Winston's shoulder is bad, quote-unquote bad, according to a scout who, of course, Lincoln, is not authorized to speak on the record.
No, you didn't hear from me. Anonymous. Right
no, hey, I didn't tell you this, but you go with it. Teams noticed a weakness in Winston's throwing shoulder that was reported on Friday. The quarterback denied any issues, saying, hey, it's the same shoulder I had at Florida State. It's viewed as a long-term problem by one team who has taken him off his board, which is real easy to say if you're picking 20th and you know he's not going to be there. And the injury was categorized as a quote-unquote real issue. So again, another situation that becomes public and you can't help but wonder, okay, where's this coming from? You know, every team is going to do their due diligence on medical. If he drops, well, maybe this is the issue with the shoulder problem. But I just find it odd how some of these stories leak, and then again, you have someone that's not willing to, as Jay Moore would say, put their name on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the investment does not start at the draft. It does not start in the scouting. This goes back a long way. Teams invest multi-million dollars in background searches, private investigators. They want to learn everything there is to learn about you if they're thinking about drafting you. The most unfortunate thing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is I don't really think the Tampa Bay has a choice. They need a quarterback. Even if Jameis Winston's shoulder was bad, they need a quarterback. They got to pick either Mariota or Jameis Winston. And according to most of the scouts, Jameis Winston is the most NFL ready out of the two. You don't have a choice. You got to take him number one. Unless somebody comes up and gives you your entire draft and says, hey, we'll give you all this year's pick and everyone else's pick, the next couple years' picks to jump up to the number one spot. Well, then, of course, you're thinking, well, I can move somewhere else. But they don't have a quarterback on that can hold up to the gap. They just released McCown. So what are you going to do if you're Tampa Bay? You have to take Jameis Winston.
Right, Jamie. And now there's some buzz building this morning, and I'm falling into the trap link. Jay was making fun of me during the break because Ant, I think, does it as well, too, whenever he's here. I love football so much that I fall into the, oh, my gosh, what is this guy going to run? But apparently there's some buzz building, according to Matt Miller from Bleacher Report at NFL Draft Scout on Twitter, that Marcus Mariota will run a 4.440. as a quarterback. So take that for what it's worth. Maybe someone trying to build up his value and chop away at Jameis, but we're not in a scenario where that number one pick gets the $50 million guaranteed contract anymore.
No.
I don't know really what the point is.
Don't be enamored with the stats, though. It's Anthony does it with hand size. He's got big hands. Come on now, are you kidding me?
Oh, hey, that was the knock on Jameis. That was the knock Friday. Yesterday, it's like, well, his hands aren't big enough, and the only quarterback with hands his size that have won a playoff game in the last 5 years is Colin Kaepernick. And I'm thinking to myself, this is really what we're doing here.
If anything, Jameis Winston should learn. Always take a picture with your shirt on, dog. Don't ever take a picture with your shirt off. That's what you should learn.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, Arnie and I were debating it last Sunday night. Is he fat? That was really what's happening on Fox Sports Radio last week. Jameis too fat to be a quarterback. All right. We got much more to come because I think there is a story that's being leaked from a team to try to minimize the value of a potential free agent. We'll get to that coming up in about 15 minutes. But first, college basketball, NBA chat, and what's trending on Fox Sports Radio.
We begin in Major League Baseball, where today the Boston Red Sox extended manager John Farrell's contract through 2017 with a club option for 2018, while the Washington Nationals exercised the 2016 club option on manager Matt Williams. In the NBA Friday night, the Golden State Warriors improved to 43-9 with a 110-99 victory over the world champion Spurs. Elsewhere in NoCal.
And George Karl making his way out, waving to the crowd as they come to their feet here at Sleep Train Arena. What a Sacramento welcome for George Karl. And you got to imagine the butterflies are flowing.
The call on Comcast as Karl's Sacramento Kings defeated the Boston Celtics 109-101 by DeMarcus Cousins' 31 points and 15 rebounds. I'm Isaac Lowenkron, breaking sports news as it happens.
We are Fox Sports! Tomorrow, the Great American Race kicks off the 2015 NASCAR season on Fox. Race Day gets you ready for the big race starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. And don't miss the 2015 Daytona 500 at noon, only on Fox.
So, fellas, coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios, it's easy to save 15% or more on car insurance with Geico, so go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The only hard part, figuring out which way is easier. My boys are already texting me to make fun of me, Link, for when Greg Papa is on, because they're worried that I might sound like Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live. Link, Greg, you guys remember that one time when Khalil Mack and C.O. Moore kept celebrating? That was awesome. I'm such a hopeless. I shouldn't say hopeless. A hopeless romantic with my team. That the NFL Network did this cool thing during the season to where they would have game rewinds. So if you missed the game, and I live in a market to where you don't get many Raiders games, unfortunately. That's my team. That's what I bleed. I bleed silver and black. And I found myself rewatching the Raiders-Niners game the other day. You can watch them in like 30-minute clips. And you watch that game and you don't watch, say, the Rams game or a couple of other games, and you feel really good about the season. But I bring it up for one reason. I'm very hopeful about this coming season.
You and every NFL fan are.
I know, right? I'm not alone here in this. Bills fan thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. So does Jets fan. But it's the first time where I feel like I'm not being completely off the board in thinking that something special, and by special I mean getting back to 500, maybe even making a run at the playoffs. I like what Derek Carr did last year. I love the attitude that Khalil Mack brings, and C.O. Moore, who just had hip surgery, so he'll be ready by training camp. There's a lot of big potential free agents out there that could help fill voids, and I know I sound like every other NFL fan out there, but since we've spent so much time today talking about teams moving and not really the teams themselves, I'm excited to see what Reggie McKenzie and Jack Del Rio do this offseason for the Raiders, Link.
Well, I mean, there's reasons for optimism, a number of reasons. Look at the division. It's not solid, as strong as some of the other divisions in the NFL, so there's always the potential to have a breakout season. You mentioned at the top of the show, how the 1 year where Kansas City went from, 2
years ago,
wins to having 11 wins, whatever it is, in playoffs. There's that feeling of optimism that surrounds every NFL fan, and the first step to it, and Roger Dale's no dummy. This is why he's been brilliant for the NFL owners. NFL's on the top of the talk even when it's not in season. I mean, we've got a bunch of no names running around in shorts and T-shirts, and yet it seems to be on the top of everybody's tongue. Oh, what's going to happen with Jameis Winston? Is he going to throw? Is he not going to throw? Mariota's going to run a 4-4, whatever. I mean, these guys haven't played it down in the National Football League, and most of them become Mr. Irrelevant after a while. But it's a part of the conversation, and it'll carry on through to March Madness will take over for a little bit. Then you'll carry on with the draft, and the first 2 days will be the talk of the town. See how this team made themselves better or didn't do it. It's all a precursor to this NFL season, which a lot of people are optimistic for their team for.
All right, we might have some room to roam here. Donnie Marshall is slated to join us, former UConn standout. He's getting ready to cover the St. John's game this morning. I want to dive in to something that you teased a bit in stories being floated to maybe minimize value. And it happens a lot. This is happening all around Indianapolis right now. But could it be happening in the NFL with a veteran? And I'm going to play a piece of audio here. This is from in Dallas on 105.3 The Fan, which is the affiliate for the Dallas Cowboys. And they had a guest, Mike Florio, yesterday. And as soon as this took place, this story started to generate some legs, if you will. There's still nothing mainstream. I know Deadspin had a piece on it. And I know this is the most conversation it's had involving Dez Bryant. So I'm going to play, it's a 5-minute take. I'm not going to play anywhere near all of that. But I want to play the setup link, and then I want to play the answer from Mike Florio, who I think we can put in that trusted category of people when it comes to NFL news. But could there be a conspiracy with Dez Bryant? Listen to this.
RJ and I have heard from two different people that there's some story or some info the Cowboys have on Dez that may eventually come out, and it'll explain all their hesitation, and it's such a major deal that they know about that it's caused.
You're correct. You're absolutely right.
You know about this?
It's one of the I guess I would say best kept secrets in the media because no one's reported it yet. But there is a story that all of the major insiders know about, that we've known about it for months. It involves a videotape, and I don't know that it exists. I know people have been trying desperately to get it. I know the Cowboys are aware of it. And because of that and possibly other reasons, the Cowboys have been very reluctant to commit major money to him. That's been kind of the open secret among members of the media.
So, interesting, right? If there is a tape out there with Dez and it has been compared to a Ray Rice-esque situation, and quote-unquote the insiders know about it, I mean, come on, guys. We live on the internet. You're telling me that someone would, right? It would have been out by now. So where the hell is this coming from? Are the Cowboys floating this to try to minimize their negotiations with Dez Bryant? Dez fired back on Twitter. We'll get to that in just a bit. But wow, that blew my mind when I heard that yesterday, because that sounds like something that came from a team, Lincoln.
In this day and age, Chris, don't put anything above the team. Let's face it. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, you not only have to try to minimize the feelings or harshness feelings of your players, the people involved directly with the organization, but your fan base. And Dez Bryant is a key part of the Dallas Cowboys' future success. They know it. He knows it. Everyone else knows it. The reason why they're not been able to commit a lot of dollars is because they're absolutely horrible at managing the cap.
Why can't Dallas commit money? They've committed it to Romo.
That's exactly right. So they're absolutely horrible. So they're just trying to buy time to see what they can do. Dez Bryant wants top elite dollar, and he should get it. He's one of the best receivers. I've said that time and time again. We all know it. He's one of the best receivers. He should get top elite dollars. But the reason why the salary cap is in play is that everybody on your team can't get top elite money. And if Dez Bryant is franchise tagged what I expect him to be, Dallas is only trying to buy time to either figure out what they're going to do with Romo, find a way to restructure Romo, or make his cap number not as big a hit to where they can commit to the dollars. Dez doesn't want it, but hey, you're still going to be paid in the top 5% this season.
Absolutely.
And you go back to the negotiating table. What's the harm in that?
Well, you got to pay his team too, though, Big Link. You know, you got to pay the protective custody people. You got to pay the security. You got to make sure you carry his mom is a handful himself, and on top of that, you got to make sure you pay the belt makers, because you know his pants don't stay up too high in the mall.
Master Jerry Jones is a tremendous businessman. He had that Immaculate Palace built by public dollars. They didn't actually make it public dollars. He called it private dollars. But he had that way. So he can find a way to get this thing done. He'll have money to go around. It's just working against the salary cap. He's quick to throw it around. I got it, and I'll spend it. But it's not the salary cap, dog. You can't keep going over the salary cap without being penalized. So that's where that lies. But I don't put anything, back to your point, Chris, I don't put anything above a franchise. I don't put anything because they've got people out there who are purposely positioned out there to do things just like that. Well, I heard, we got this tape on Dez Bryant. This is why we can't commit big money to him, dog, because he was doing this, and this.
And what can the Cowboys do, which they quickly did, is deny that it exists. Absolutely. I think Stephen Jones came out and told CowboysHQ.com, hey, that's false. And then Dez fired back himself. He sent this out on what looks like it was on his notepad. He took a picture of it and put it on Twitter. Just quit with the BS. It's clear as day what's going on, which I agree with you, Dez. I might need to do an exclusive interview about my life these past 5 years, since the world is destined to know. I used to let people take advantage of my life. Now that I'm no longer allowing that to happen, it seems to be a problem. I'm not ashamed of none of my past incidents, because that's what's made me who I am today.
I'm a single man, ladies.
So either he's saying, hey, there's something out there and I'm not ashamed of it, and one of my boys has it and he's trying to get paid, or he realizes that they're trying to do what they can to minimize his value from the top in the Cowboys organization. There's a lot of different angles at play here with Dez, but I'm with you. Perform on the field, stay out of trouble off of it. We're good, man. I'll pay you the $10 million that you appear to want as a wide receiver. Hell yeah.
And he'll get it. He'll definitely get it. There's no doubt about it.
877-99 on Fox. We'll talk some college basketball when we come back. Crazy morning, fun morning. Chris Plank in for Anthony Gargano. That's Lincoln Kennedy. It's the Fellas on Fox Sports Radio.
This is where your sports
he runs the floor and throws it down.
and entertainment collide.
The Oscar goes to...
It's the Oscars.
My name is Stephen Hawking.
Mr. President, Dr. King is here.
I'm ready to come home, baby.
And we cover your cinema magic right here.
We are Fox Sports.
What's the best way to bring people together?
T-shirts!
T-shirts. Custom T-shirts that you design online with Custom Ink. Custom Ink has created over 50 million shirts for families, teams, reunions, church groups, cheerleaders, companies big and small. On-time delivery is guaranteed, and we'll even ship your order absolutely free.
Start designing your Custom Ink T-shirts today and see why 99% of our customers say they would order from us again. Visit CustomInk.com.
You know what your car wants to be when it grows up? a well-oiled machine. Right now at Firestone Complete Auto Care, get a synthetic blend oil change, including a free battery check for only $21.99. No appointment necessary. Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Offer valid February 1st through February 28th. See store for full details. Install oil filter and refill up to 5-quart synthetic blend motor oil. An additional fee of up to $275 may be added for oil filter recycling.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
This is James Snyder inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy, right here on WOCA 1370.
Join us on Saturday, March 7, 2015 for the second annual Habitat Strawberries Festival at the McPherson Government Complex. The goal of this festival is not only to provide a great time for families in Ocala, but to also raise funds to build a home for our family and our community and support Habitat for Humanity's mission to strengthen communities, build hope, and provide dignified housing solutions. Remember, Saturday, March 7, 2015 for the second annual Habitat Strawberries Festival at the McPherson Government Complex, which starts at 7 a.m. with breakfast.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
Now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out.
New shows? Check.
We are Sports.
Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire. Because that's how exotic it is.
We are Sports.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
Pounds of pressure off each knee. For more information on managing pain, visit fightarthritispain.org, baby. This message is brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
Sometimes we forget.
Is that possible?
We get a little ahead of ourselves. You know, talking sports and all.
That's what sports radio is all about.
But that doesn't mean we won't take the time to tell you. Thank you.
This is Ben Maller. Thank you.
I'm Andy Furman.
And I'm Mike Dorr. Thanks, folks. This is JT the Brick, and we thank you.
We're so grateful for you, the fan.
You guys are the rock on this radio show.
Thank you again from your friends here.
This is Steve Gorman. Thank you.
On Fox Sports Radio.
Fire it up.
Hi, this is Jimmy Johnson. Hi, this is Kevin Harvick.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series kicks off this afternoon with its opening race at Daytona. The Alert Today Florida 300. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Fire it up.
When I was a young boy.
We are Fox Sports Radio. He's Chris Plank sitting in for Anthony Gargano. I'm Lincoln Kennedy, also known as the Fellas, right here every Saturday morning. And what does it mean when Geico says 15 minutes can save you 50% or more? It means you should have probably visited Geico 15 minutes ago. We're going to be talking a little bit later about some college basketball, but I guess we could jump into a little bit right now while we're waiting for Donnie to come on. Chris, if you will. You had made mention that as far as top 25 ranked games going, there weren't a lot of them.
Only one, yeah.
Yeah, only one. Yeah, it seems that when the teeth, these teams get into the teeth of their conference schedule before the conference tourneys, you can find out a lot about them, and more importantly, you can see how they might be able to drop off. But I guess the big question that seems to be surrounding a lot of national pundits is how strong is Kentucky looking, and how sure that we're probably going to see them win a national championship.
They've only got one chance to lose a game the rest of the regular season, I think.
Arkansas?
And Arkansas. That's it. Arkansas beat them twice last year.
Right.
It wasn't much of a game when they played each other the first time, and that was in Fayetteville. But I think that's about it. I'll say this, Link. I hadn't had a chance, because I think you and I are very similar when it comes to how we view sports after football. Sure. As much as I love the NBA and I love college basketball, I haven't watched a minute until the football seasons wrap up at college and pro. So February to me, and I feel like I'm pretty much all caught up, so I can talk like an expert now, right? February was really catching up. So I hadn't really been on the old Kentucky's going to go undefeated train until the last couple of weeks, and I watched him the other night. I watched him play Tennessee, and I know Tennessee's not a really great matchup right now and what they're trying to do, but my goodness, it's unfair. It is unfair. What Kentucky has, they go to the bench and they bring in 7-footers and 6'11" guys. I mean, I don't know. They're not going to lose to Auburn. They're not, which is later today. They're not going to lose at Mississippi State. Arkansas has a slim opportunity. They're not. I guess Georgia could give them a game. They're not going to lose to Florida at home to wrap up the season. They're likely going to head into the NCAA tournament undefeated, but boy, they from 1 through 10, it's impossible to really find a weakness. Now, we've seen teams that we thought were dominant teams Certainly. Get beat. It happens, yeah. But from Booker to Harrison, Cauley-Stein, Towns, Harrison, right. Lyles, Johnson. I mean, this is incredible. They've got, I think it was 15 guys that average double-digit minutes per game.
Certainly.
I mean, what kind of? That's a ridiculous rotation heading into March.
Look, there's no doubt this team is a juggernaut. But what sets it for me, and I'm not saying that they're going to hoist up the trophy, but they're damn sure one of the favorites to do it. Defense in basketball is a matter of attitude. When you have young guys like this possess the attitude where they're adamantly against you scoring, and they take it personally when you do. Yeah. That's an intangible that sets you apart from many other teams, many other schools, many other programs. Because to me, especially in college basketball, when you have so many guys who are trying to show why they should make a claim to be the next great star in the NBA, the one and done rule and everything else. These guys, Calipari's done a great job. He's managed to bring these guys together, manage the personalities, and really get the most out of them. There are two teams right now I would like to see Kentucky take on, and I want those two teams to be at the top. One is Wisconsin, and the other one is Virginia. That's what I want to see you guys. I want to see them go at it and see them hold a standard up to them. Now, I think Kentucky, athletically wise, can compete with anybody and above, as you mentioned, most of the schools that are going to be in the tournament. But the problem they run into right now is they haven't tasted a day where they haven't shown up and lost a game. They don't have that bitter taste in their mouth. And one of those guys who went through an undefeated season of football knows how it can be, when you're teetering, especially when you don't play your best. That can be a bad taste, of foul taste, and it can actually run in trouble if you get into, you lose here. Not to say they're going to, but if you lose from this point forward.
I will, can I throw one more team in there?
Sure.
Because you mentioned Wisconsin and Virginia. Why not Gonzaga? Why couldn't Gonzaga do it? 33-1 right now.
I know.
And you've been on the Gonzaga bandwagon.
Do it.
But when you bring up a third, and basically we're just trying to find a team that can beat them. I mean, Wichita State almost did during last year's NCAA tournament, but again, that was last year. Arkansas beat them twice last year, so take that. But here's a Zags team that's 15-0, WCC, 12 double-digit wins. I know that it's the West Coast Conference, but still, Link, could Gonzaga be one of those teams that could do this?
Scared man don't win, Link.
You're right about that. Very true.
I seen you on them tables in Vegas.
Jordan Cornette came on and he made a very compelling argument to get behind this team. And my thing is this, and we didn't have a chance to go into detail, Chris. I have been on the Zags bandwagon before.
Yep.
And I've absolutely been enthralled as a person who went to school in Seattle can be with anything that come out of Spokane, but as enthralled with this team as possible. And then they dropped the ball, no pun intended, when they get into the tourney to a lesser known team, if you will. And you know what? This is a good team. I watched them several times. This is a good team, but I just don't know how it's going to carry the weight on the national standard when we get into the tournament. Right. I'm hoping that it does. I'm hoping to have something special to talk about from the West because it's going to be slim pickings anywhere else.
Well, and have we had a situation where they've burned you enough times that you're like, I don't know if I can trust this team? I've been burned so many times. I've been burned so many times by, and it's funny, we were talking to Jordan Cornette about this. I've been burned so many times believing in a Notre Dame team that's gone in the first round. Some Mick Cronin Cincinnati teams have burned me, and Gonzaga is right up there with it. Now, Gonzaga is usually one of those odd birds that when there's not much expected of them, that's when they do something. But when there's something expected of them, and they're a 2, 3, or 4 seed, that's usually when they get knocked off. That's a hard thing to try to figure out.
They're going to go into I think they're going to win out, and they're going to go in at the number 1 seed. I honestly see that, and it would be so disheartening to me if I jump on that bandwagon and all of a sudden they get beat by 16. I won't necessarily say 16, but maybe let's say the 32nd
round by 8. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on now, that's what I'm worried about.
The resume is impressive for Gonzaga, even if you hate the West Coast Conference, all right? They have a win over SMU. The Zags own a win over St. John's, who's getting ready to tip off in just a bit. They beat a Georgia team that has beaten Ole Miss and Arkansas, and they beat UCLA. So, and UCLA is battling for its postseason life right now. But
certainly,
when we're talking about teams that could potentially give Kentucky a challenge, I'm with you 100%. Virginia, Wisconsin, right there near the top of the chart. But do you slide Gonzaga into that mix?
Need a little more convincing, bro.
Might need some more convincing. All right. When we come back next hour, it's all Raiders all the time. We're painting Fox Sports Radio silver and black. I'm just kidding. Greg Pop is coming. Greg Pop is coming up with us next hour, and I want to dive into Peyton Manning and his future. It was clarified somewhat over the last 48 hours. Conversations with Gary Kubiak and also John Elway. We'll bring you that audio, and we'll give you Link's perspective coming up next hour. He's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Chris Plank, filling in for Anthony Gargano. It's the fellas NFL chat surrounding Peyton Manning next, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
A show of contempt would be to say, what kind of an idiot can't even cook a simple dinner? That single behavior is so powerful it can be used to predict divorce with 93% accuracy. Here's another way to get back to sleep, and Connie uses this. Listen to white noise. You can try an app like Sleepmaker Rain, which is free for iPhone and Android. The new normal is to get a last-minute text at, say, 9 o'clock on a Saturday saying, hey, want to go see a band?
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment. 352-615-5566.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
WWWOCA,
Doctor can show you how to lower it. If you have diabetes, know your risk. Know your A1C. Ask your doctor. Or for more information, go to www.diabetesa1c.org or call 1-877-TEST-A1C. Brought to you by the American Diabetes Association, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation International, and the Ad Council.
Andy Furman.
Hello, Mikey. Hello, America.
And Mike North.
Everything's good, Andy.
This is Fox Sports Daybreak.
Has anybody watched Russell Westbrook lately? I'm going to make a statement right now. He's the best player in the game right now. DeAndre Jordan could have. The only thing he could hold up is a cup of coffee.
I don't know about the best player in the game. You're going a little gaga here. I'll still take Steph Curry over him.
No, I said right now, no way. Okay. No way. Okay. You're coming up a 42-point percent. Nobody's been hotter before the All-Star break, and now
he's
after.
Hot. He's hot, but not the best. He's the
best in the game right now. Best guard in the game right now. Best guard in the game right now. See, you don't listen to me. You listen to everybody else.
Who do I listen to? There's no one else here to listen to.
You don't, because I told you yesterday. I told you the day before. What's Durant bitching and moaning about? He's not even the best player in his team, and he's got bad feet, and that's a problem. Remember I said that?
Andy Furman, Mike North. Fox Sports Daybreak. Weekdays, 6 a.m. Eastern.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Governors from around the nation gathering in Washington for a 3-day meeting. Colorado's Democratic Governor John Hickenlooper says both parties need to work together.
Our goal of this initiative is to make sure that government can work in the most effective and efficient way possible to deliver end results. And people can argue about whether government should be larger or smaller, but government needs to work.
The governors meet with President Obama Monday. British officials think 3 teenage girls have left London to join up with ISIS in Syria.
This is not the first time we've seen girls, even of this age, going over.
Extremism researcher Dr. Erin Saltman saying a few hundred women from across Europe have already travelled to link up with ISIS, with some of its propaganda being directed specifically at women.
Fox Radio's Simon Owen. 2 U.S. astronauts are cable guys today, wiring part of the International Space Station for 2 new crew capsules. The first of 3 spacewalks planned over the next week. Fox News, we report, you decide.
I'm Lex Friedman. I run my own business, so I know from experience, hiring new employees can be tough. Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 50-plus job sites, including social networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. And with ZipRecruiter's premium traffic boost, you can get up to 3 times more candidates. Quickly screen applicants, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 200,000 businesses. Right now, our listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. Plus, get 30% off your first traffic boost by going to ZipRecruiter.com/info. That's ZipRecruiter.com/info. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/info.
Rate quote. That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Chris Plank, sitting in for Anthony Gargano on Fox Sports Radio. It's the fellas, 877-99 on Fox. On Twitter, real easy, the mothership is at Fox Sports Radio. You can follow Lincoln at LKennedy72, and Anthony is on Twitter at Anthony L. Gargano. We were watching a couple of early games tip off, including Minnesota and Wisconsin. We broke down some college basketball bubble chat. I never really heard your take, though, when we tried to dive into who could be this year's UConn. In other words, a middle-of-the-road seed Lincoln, not a 1, 2, or 3. And I brought up SMU and Jordan. I think Jordan kind of mentioned a couple of different teams that could potentially be in that mix. Michigan State was one that he brought up who could end up being a 10 or 11. You got a team that stands out to you that could be in that mix?
You know what? Here's the thing. I know the term mid-major is thrown around a lot, but there are some of the lesser-known schools that I think can make a challenge. I like what they're doing at Northern Iowa. You know, he had mentioned, Boise State? Jordan had mentioned. So there's some lesser-known schools that don't get as much national pub. That's why I love the tournament, because if you earn the spot, you're in it, and you can definitely shine and make do. I'm looking for a worthwhile tournament. If we want to go ahead and crown Kentucky, for those who want to go ahead and crown them, then we got to have some other games that keep us enthralled until they play. Yeah. But there are teams like Northern Iowa that definitely stand out, and there's some other ones. It'll be interesting to see if the Zags win out when they get that 1 seed. And from all the pundits I've heard out there, they say both Duke and Virginia are also going to be 1 seeds as well.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking right now.
Kentucky. So that's pretty worthwhile. But Ohio State, Michigan State, these are teams that you just can't walk away from. Of course, who knows what Louisville is going to do. Some teams that have been there in the past. So there are a lot of teams out there that you could throw into the conversation. Of course, I want to see what Notre Dame does as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think what they have this season, Mike Breen's team, I think they're a very intriguing story heading into the NCAA tournament. Projected as about a 4 seed right now, so we'll see how things play out for Notre Dame down the stretch. And I'll be honest with you, I have my eyes on the Big 12 and the American. I think it's real interesting when you consider the Big 12 is the number 1 RPI league. There's times when I've seen really good teams like Iowa State lose to really bad teams like Texas Tech. I've seen pretty good teams like Oklahoma State go on the road and lose to TCU. So it's a weird conference, but yet it's right there near the top of the RPI. And I've covered quite a bit of the American this year, and I really like SMU. I think they could get 3 teams out of that league, maybe as many as 4. But what Frank Haith has done at Tulsa this year is something that deserves some conversations. But a handful of games here early. We'll continue to keep you up to date on that. For those that are just tuning in this morning, we did dive into Mayweather-Pacquiao way back in hour number 1, set for May 2nd. Link it again, not the same oomph as if it was 5 or 6 years ago, but still pretty exciting. I think for some, they're expecting to break the all-time record in pay-per-view buys, also in pay-per-view revenue, and in all-time gate record. I'm still trying to figure out what a ringside seat might go for in Vegas on May 2nd.
Both. I mean, I haven't been ringside since what the last. Goodness gracious, what was it? I can't remember. Too many knocks on the head. There was one. Tyson Holyfield. That's the one I was ringside for. I happened to get some tickets on that. I was ringside, well, 4th row, but it was some great seats. But that was who's who, if you will, in the world of sports and entertainment. He had to be around him, so that was okay. But this one's going to be out the door. I'm watching it from home.
$400 million is what they're expecting to rake in, if not more.
Easy.
$120 million for Floyd Mayweather. And he released it on something called Shots, which is one of his new social media platforms. And I don't think anyone found out until he released it on Instagram. So, good try. But since nobody was on Shots, you had to go to Instagram
Hey,
to
look,
let
if you
everyone
have your
know.
own network, you got to use it first. It's got to be the first thing that drops down. You got to get people to know about it. I mean, hey, it is what it is.
We've been talking a lot about that. And when I say we've been talking a lot about the combine, I should be specific. We're not getting into that. What do we say? That the rumor was that Marcus Mariota was going to run a 4.40. He ran like a 4.6. Thanks for the rumors, guys. Or Jameis Winston's 40 time. But I've found this week to be interesting in the storylines that have developed heading into the quote-unquote off-season, which you ask any coach or GM, the off-season doesn't really exist. There's just a couple of weekends you take off and you keep working. But, Link, I wanted to get your take before we welcome in Greg Papa next segment and we go all Raiders all the time. But their rival in the AFC West, though it hasn't been much of a rivalry recently, has been the Denver Broncos. And the unfortunate, I guess, part of this offseason is we'll be on Peyton watch for quite a while. I want to play a couple sound bites for you. First, Gary Kubiak, when asked earlier this week about, hey, is Peyton coming back? What's the process here? Here's what the new Broncos coach had to say.
I've had a chance to visit with him quite often here in the last couple of weeks. It's been very good. No football, but visiting about a lot of things, but no football. And he's very positive in his talking to me. He's been very positive with John. So we continue to move forward, and I'll let he and John work that out.
Right, but at least Kubiak feels pretty good about him coming back, right, Coach?
I think all indications are that everything that he's said and through his conversations with John, he feels good, and he's had his self-assessment or however you want to label that, and he feels good about moving forward. So we'll just continue with the process.
So there's the head coach. Let me real quick give you what John Elway had to say. And I thought Elway, even though he ruined most of my childhood, Elway, I thought hit it right on the head. I thought he was money.
The bottom line is I don't like to get into anybody's contract or discuss anything about contract, but just know that, as I said, I believe he'll be back, and I believe that, he'll be our quarterback next year.
You buying that? Is Peyton back in Denver? Is this all a lot of posturing and positioning right now, Link?
Knowing Peyton the way I do, I know he's an ultimate competitor, and he's not going to be counted out. I thought his body language when he walked off of that AFC playoff game was that I'm done, I'm too beat up, I can't do it no more. But, hearing the fact that he might, John Elway probably got in his ear and said, look, you give us the best chance to win, it stroked his ego a little bit, and it's right. It's right. Peyton does give them the best chance to win because they don't have a backup option working right now. I can see him coming back. Well, now, where I'm hesitant with this whole conversation is that how does Peyton fit into Kubiak's offensive philosophy? I know that he had some semblance of it when he was in Indianapolis, working a great deal off of the play action, but that was some time ago. Peyton has gotten more used to taking the shotgun, not having to move around a lot other than move up in the pocket, rather than taking it from drop back. And I just don't necessarily know if an old dog can change his spots just right away. More importantly, does he want to? I think that the AFC West as a whole is still wide open. And I think that even if Peyton comes back, if they don't address their offensive line issues, or he doesn't have the receivers to throw to, which I think is going to be hard for them to keep everybody together, this is going to be something that works against them. But, right now, if you're John Elway and the Denver Broncos, this is your best option as far as quarterback. This is the only thing you have working for you. You have to go through it.
Brock Osweiler is not leading that team to a title. And let's just take quick inventory of the free agent quarterbacks. And we're done. There's Ryan Mallett. There's Mark Sanchez. There's potentially, Brian Hoyer is out there. There's nobody that you're going. Now, next year could be a different story. Next year could be Eli and Ben Roethlisberger if they don't get deals done, which you would imagine both of them will. But this year is just one of those years to where there's not that quick fix. And Denver, they're not picking somewhere in the draft to where you're going to get a Mariota or a Jameis Winston. So you're right. It might cost him $19 million, but if I'm a Bronco fan, as frustrating as the stretch run was last year, you got to be rooting like crazy, don't you, for Peyton to come back to maybe I hate to say rediscover the fire, because who the hell am I, Link, to question whether or not Peyton still has that fire? I'm just going by what I see on TV. I saw a guy that he looked like he lacked confidence, and I have never seen that from Peyton Manning in the outside of maybe a couple stretches his rookie year. I've never seen that before. And it's hard to try to quantify where he is mentally when he's really not speaking right now.
The reason why he lacked confidence is because he's being hit from every which way but loose.
Yeah,
His offensive line wasn't standing up. And the fact is that, look, you lose steps as you get older. His arm strength isn't what he was, and he knows it. More importantly, when you have guys who won't catch the ball, i.e. Demaryius Thomas in that playoff game, what left are you to do? Peyton Manning took the whole Broncos situation to begin with when he came out of Indianapolis, because he knew he was going to a place where there was a defensive-led team at the time, John Fox, and he was going to have carte blanche to put in his offense and what he wanted to do. I believe that wholeheartedly. Now that he goes to an offensive-minded coach, it's a little bit of a gear change, if you will. I know he still wants to play. I know he still wants to compete. I know he still wants to say that he can do it at a high level. But because the Denver Broncos as a whole have not implemented a plan B, they don't have anything in place right now. Sure, if they draft a quarterback in lower rounds, they'll have some time to try to develop him, if you will. Maybe get in place, see if he is. Brock Osweiler's not the one that they want to go after to do that. There is a transition period, and the only way that they can keep this team on the level that it has over the last couple of years is to have number 18 at quarterback.
Yeah, and let me play one more quick cut here for those that want even more clarity. I'll do it when we get back. But John Elway's point was, hey, you know what? He's feeling better. He's in a better place mentally and physically. And I think that's the key. You want your quarterback to be in a good place physically. You want him to be in a good place mentally. And I'm sorry, I don't know many people that have turned down $19 million. We'll talk more about Peyton. We'll talk more about the NFL offseason. Greg Papa's next right here on The Fellas on Fox Sports Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. America and the world, it is the moment of truth.
The fight is going to happen. Floyd Mayweather, yes, Instagramming out that he and Manny Pacquiao will be fighting in Las Vegas on May 2nd.
Never say never.
We are Buffalo.
Hey, Steve Gorman here, and I'm urging you to become an O'Reilly O Rewards member. Sign up to be an O Rewards member today, because you can start earning instantly. O Rewards members earn $5 back for every $150 they spend. So if you're not a member, what are you waiting for? It's fast, easy, and free. That's right, free. No membership fees, and only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. To find the location of your neighborhood O'Reilly Auto Parts store, visit O'ReillyAuto.com. See store for details. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, first off, hope you are well. And I am. Seems like all you do is promote Geico's web and app abilities. And while I really enjoyed your last commercial where you talked about how I could take a photo of my VIN number and add it to my account all via my Geico app, I've got to think it doesn't leave you much time for anything else. Do tell. Sincerely, Miranda Morgan. Well, Miranda, thank you for asking. And this Geico spokespig does have time to do other things. For instance, I do a lot of
VIN scanning to add a car. Just a tap away on the Geico app.
Attention, salespeople. Did you know that close to 90% of all salespeople have never even read one sales book? How many sales are you losing simply because you've never been professionally trained how to sell? Hi, this is Jason Evans, author of the Bright Sales Book on Closing. If you're serious about increasing your sales, I want to invest and give you a free trial pass to access my multi-million-dollar sales training website that trains, tests, and tracks you. Just call us and leave us a voicemail with your email address, and we'll send you your free trial pass. Call 800-500-8320. Do you want to double or triple your income and be number one in your company? Then let me show you how to do it with guaranteed results. Call 800-500-8320. Here's what others are saying.
Is like Viagra for my wallet. You guys got the magic mojo.
It has set me on fire.
Even over the phone, it's coming off.
These techniques are for any product or service, regardless of industry, whether you sell face-to-face or over the phone. Call 800-500-8320. 800-500-8320. That's 800-500-8320.
You can have work done on your vehicle anywhere, but why would you? Maybe they correctly determine the problem and suggest the proper service. There's a chance they won't. Eliminate that chance by bringing your vehicle to Ford Lincoln of Ocala or Village Ford of Bellevue. The professionally trained, factory-certified team understands the service requirements and maintenance needs of your vehicle, and when the unexpected repair comes your way, you can be assured the work will be done correctly, quickly, and cost-effectively. Look, you've invested a lot of your hard-earned money in your transportation to deliver performance, reliability, and safety. So doesn't it just just makes sense to trust the professional team at Ford Lincoln of Ocala and Village Ford of Bellevue to ensure you many miles of worry-free driving and peace of mind knowing the service was done correctly. So the choice is yours. Take the hard-earned investment to whoever for service or a factory-trained certified technician at Ford Lincoln of Ocala or Village Ford of Bellevue. To schedule your next completely satisfied service for your vehicle, contact those who know it best. Village Ford of Bellevue or Ford Lincoln of Ocala, your family of Ford dealerships where we've got what it takes.
Where did you sit when the dust settled?
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall.
Where did you sit when the tempers flared?
And now it appears we may have a fist fight. Drivers and helmets.
Or when standing ovation took on a whole new meaning?
All the pit crews out on pit lane to salute Dale Earnhardt, who is...
Well, from where we sit, this Daytona 500 is the chance of a lifetime. Because this is your final opportunity to experience the great American race from some of the classic seats that have witnessed some of the most famous moments in racing history. And it's your first chance to say hello to the future in all new grandstands where fans will bear witness to all the legendary moments yet to come. So where will you sit this February 22nd? Don't miss your one and only chance to experience Daytona at a unique moment in history. The Daytona 500, Sunday, February 22nd. To guarantee your seats, call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit Daytona500.com.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
This is WOCA, News Talk 1370. Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
When you hear this sound, you know we're giving you the breaking news that you need.
Hit that sound again!
Followed by the breaking news.
We've got breaking news. Breaking that news.
Breaking news. We have breaking news with Dan Byer.
Give me a little breaking news.
We got breaking news.
Can I get it one more time?
Boom. Breaking news.
We are Fox Sports.
This is...
The one is on.
Fox Sports 1.
I know you want me, you know I want you.
America's new sports network.
Go to foxsports1.com to find the channel number for Fox Sports 1 in your area.
Cause I'm a Raider, Oakland Raider, from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Cause I'm a player, a boss player. And if
Welcome back. This segment is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. I know sometimes I say this is Fox Sports Radio, the fellas, but I think we've changed. We are Raider Nation Radio. If you
Raider Nation Radio, baby.
There you
Hell
go.
Yeah.
Chris Plank sitting in for Anthony Gargano. I'm Lincoln Kennedy. And now let's go out to the Progressive Insurance Celebrity Hotline and talk to Greg Papa, one of my comrades in Raider Nation Radio. Greg, how you doing today, bro?
Doing well, Link. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, have you started looking at real estate in Carson, bro?
Pacific Palisades, I think, is the real estate spot I'm going to head to.
There you go.
It's interesting. There was actually I don't know if you recall, Link, about a year ago there was a story out that the Raiders and Chargers were talking about a shared stadium. And the one reservation I have about it is that I'm not sure, but it sounds like one team would have to leave the AFC West if that happened. I guess the only strange thing would be when they played each other if they shared the same stadium and they're in the same division. So I'm not sure why the rules are. Apparently there's a rule where you cannot share a stadium and be in the same conference, although there really isn't much precedent for it outside of the teams in New York. So that would be a problem, and I think, to leave the AFC West, because it dates back to the AFL West and that great league which brought the merger, which changed pro football, which changed sports in America. So that would be tough to leave the Broncos and the Chargers and the Chiefs and go to the NFC West. And it's all, media conjecture right now. We'll see how it all plays out. Maybe there is a way for them to both stay in the AFC West. I think the goal is for them to stay where they are. The Chargers just stay in San Diego and the Raiders just stay here. But both areas have been very slow to make any progress on really substantial plans or financial plans to build them a stadium. And I think the timing is that, Stan Kroenke and the Rams are ready to roll. They're going to move. And I think the word is they're going to be there next year. And they're not going to go through the process the NFL has required. And they're just going to, kind of just bogart their way down there and do what Al Davis did 30-plus years ago and maybe sue the league. And I think what the Raiders and Chargers are saying, there may not be room for three of them. In fact, I think that would be highly unlikely for the LA area to have three. So if the Rams wind up going down there in a preemptive strike, I think the Chargers and Raiders are trying to align themselves with the league to not allow that to occur, and they'd have to get the three-quarter vote. So it's fascinating theater. I think we'd love to see the Raiders stay where they are, but they were in L.A. for 13 years, and it would not be a big deal to move back down there if they had to.
Greg Papa is the voice of the Oakland Raiders, and you'll be proud of me, Greg. My daughter now, every time I'll say the Raiders game is on, she'll yell touchdown Raiders for me. So she's
need to do it more than once a Sunday. We need like Lincoln playing like 3, 4, 5 times a game. Once a week is not nearly enough.
Hey, she loved it during the final 2 minutes of games. Best 2-minute offense in the NFL with 2 minutes left in the games last year. So it's you host a show in the Bay Area. I was curious on Friday as this story broke really late Thursday night. What was the buzz in the Bay Area? What was the conversation like? Was it, oh, hey, here we go again, another one of these BS rumors, or was there legit concern, Greg?
I think both. I think they've had a lot of rumors. The San Antonio rumor, was in play, and it was pretty obvious the Raiders sent some key officials, including the owner and Mark Bedane, to South Texas to check that out. And the truth of the matter is, and I've spoken to Mark Davis about this many, many times, and I'm sure Link has, they want to stay in Oakland. They are the Oakland Raiders. I mean, they went to L.A. for 13 years and won a Super Bowl there, but they're the Oakland Raiders. And they want to make it work, but the city of Oakland, the county of Alameda County, it's tough financially to make this work. So they've got to get a stadium. With the 49ers getting a new place, it's undeniable the two worst football stadiums in the NFL are in Oakland and San Diego. It's not even close. So they need new facilities to just generate revenue. And free agency is going to start March the 10th. It's hard to lure free agents when you take them over to the Coliseum and show them that antiquated place, or even the building in Alameda needs to be upgraded. And they've had that on hold for years because Al wasn't sure where they were going to be. So they're worried. There's a tremendously loyal fan base. The Raider fan base is among the best in all of pro sports, and they've been agonized ever since Link's team went to the Super Bowl in 2002. So it's been hard, but they cringe at the thought of them leaving. But I think they understand the situation that Oakland and Alameda County needs to come forward with a pretty substantial plan. But the reality is I just don't know if they're going to be able to.
With that being said, Pop, let's talk about what we do know. We got Jack Del Rio as a head coach. There's a lot of excitement surrounding that. And of course, they're looking towards the draft and free agency. But as you said, even with money to spend and an idea where you want to go, it's hard for the fan base to overlook the obvious sentiment that their team might be leaving. But putting that on the side, your thoughts as to what we've seen so far happen in the offseason with some of the coaching moves, the coaching changes, and the additions that Rio had to his staff?
Well, it's been interesting. I think Bill Musgrave from when he was here before. He's a really smart, cerebral guy. He's going to be the offensive coordinator. I think he's a perfect guy to mentor Derek. You don't need a screamer and a yeller and a guy who's going to get in Derek's face. You need more of a guy who's going to appeal to him intellectually and spiritually and just let him be the leader that he is. So I think Musgrave will be a real help. One thing that I wanted to do last year, since Derek did it so much at Fresno State, was to utilize the shotgun, the no huddle, have it be more of a check with me kind of an attack. Maybe not what Peyton has done in Denver and Indy, but more of what Phillip Rivers does in San Diego, I think is the way to accentuate his skills. So I think they'll do that. Defensively, Ken Norton Jr. is just, I've had several occasions to speak with him, spend time with him, interview him. He's a tremendous ball of energy. I mean, the guy really, I think he set the tone for that defense in Seattle and the linebacking core with his energy. it's going to be an upgrade for him to, move into be coordinating a defense. It's not something he's ever done before, but I think along with, Jack being there, who's done that before and been a head coach, it shouldn't be a problem. I love Brad Seeley as a special teams coordinator. He's been in the league forever, many years in New England, the last few in San Francisco. He's just among the best. They lost Bobby April, but Brad Seeley is equally as strong. And we'll see what they do in free agency. They got a lot of money to spend. And I think the problem with free agency relates back to the original question. Where are you going to play? What stadium are you in? What upgrades are you going to make to the facility? And Jack's talked about it. But, they're not going to put a lot of money into that facility if they're going to pick up and move next year. They're going to change the carpeting and upgrade the weight room and, paint a little bit, make some subtle changes, resod the fields and things like that. But it really needs a complete overhaul. So, and players like that. That's where they spend their whole week. You only play for 3 hours on Sunday, 16 weeks a year. The rest of the time you're in that facility sweating and grunting. So those are things that are important. So I think what they'll try to do is go out and make a splash in free agency. You're not going to have to buy a whole new offense and defense, and mainly defense like they have the last 2 years. I think they're going to try to go out and make a big splash, whether it's Ndamukong Suh or Jason Pierre-Paul. They appear to be content with their corners. Over on the offensive side, Link, one guy that I'd love to see him go get is Mike Upati of the 49ers.
Yes.
He is a left guard, and I think the strength of the Raider offensive line right now is Gabe Jackson at left guard, the rookie, who I thought actually played the best of all the rookies last year, including Mack and Carr. Could you move Gabe to right guard? Can Mike Upati play right guard? I'm not sure, but Mike Upati's a heck of a player from the 49ers, and it sounds like they may leave him. But I think the plan in free agency is to go get, 4 or 5 really good football players, or maybe even less. Maybe, if you spend money on a Sue and it costs you millions of dollars, maybe you bring in a couple on defense and a couple on offense, and then have the draft where, as opposed to last year where they just took a dump truck of free agents and dumped it on the defense for Jason Tarver to try to get going. It's hard that way. It's really hard.
So we're sitting. Listen to me. I just said we. Raiders are sitting at 4. Greg,
You meant we.
I meant we. That's right. We. You're sitting
Raiders.
at 4.
Put the iPad, John, would you?
Who says I'm not wearing it? Leonard Williams is sitting there at 4, but you also have Amari Cooper. And I know that Reggie's very secretive about his board and the way it shakes out, but would you see this team more apt to take that playmaking wide receiver at 4, or could they go back towards the best available player, i.e. Leonard Williams, if that's a big if he's there at number 4 for the Raiders?
There's so much to be determined. I'm actually watching the Olympic, the underwear Olympics, as we call it, the combine, which is always fascinating. Kevin White of West Virginia just ran a 4.35. Devontae Parker put up a pretty good time. Amari Cooper looks like a pretty smooth receiver. So you'd have to delve into it. I was just watching Cooper a little bit earlier today. He does look a little like Torrey Holt, a little more smooth. It's hard to say. I think the kid from Nebraska, Randy Gregory, could be an option. He's a little light, but he's more of an edge rusher. The problem with a guy like Williams is, he's going to make an impact on the front. There's no question. He's to me, he looks like a Richard Seymour, where you could play him really anywhere. 3 technique, 5 technique. You'd play him in a 3-man front, a 4-man front. But I'd like to see him get a little more of an edgy guy. The one thing about Khalil is he's so stout against the run. He just shuts down his side. You can't run his way, and he was a force on that side. But he's not the bendy, twitchy, pure edge guy like when Link was there, Derek Burgess, or we had some good edge rushers. I think you need a complementary player. And I don't know if Gregory's good enough to take that high because he's light and he won't really hold up in the run game, at least initially in the NFL. He may be more of a nickel to start. But there are a lot of choices to make. I'm sure when it all flushes out. You also may see Marcus Mariota looks pretty good here. Yeah. And I think he's going to start to climb again after this performance today. We'll see how he throws. But there may be a point where, that people want to trade up, and 4 may be a spot where a quarterback is in play. Or if a quarterback goes higher, these other players may drop, and you may be able to trade back. So I think going into the offseason, the plan was to trade back, and then you kind of have to look and see if these guys are worthy of 4, and you don't want to do that. But you may be able to get more draft picks. So it's so early. The draft's not till April the 30th, so much time to make these choices.
Absolutely, Greg. I enjoy listening to you and Link and Coach Flores on the call. We really appreciate your time here on this Saturday morning on Fox Sports Radio.
It's been a pleasure. Anything from my guy Link. And tell your daughter I'm going to give her at least 3 touchdown Raiders every Sunday this year.
That's what I'd like. I'd take that. Thanks.
Hardest working man in sports business. That's all right, man. Thanks, Papa.
Greg
Appreciate
Papa.
it, brother.
When we come back, I want to dive into a couple of other combine storylines that developed this week and get Link's take. But first, let's find out what's trending.
The quarterbacks ran their 40s at the NFL Combine today. Marcus Mariota ran a 4.52, while Jameis Winston ran a 4.97. For comparison's sake, Tom Brady's 40-yard dash time at the 2000 NFL Combine, a blistering 5.28 seconds. In Major League Baseball today, the Boston Red Sox extended manager John Farrell's contract through 2017 with a club option for 2018, while the Washington Nationals exercised the 2016 club option on manager Matt Williams. In the NBA Friday night, George Karl won his debut as Sacramento's head coach as the Kings bested the Boston Celtics 109-101. And on the college basketball scoreboard right now, number 5 Wisconsin has a 26-23 lead over Minnesota, 4.5 remaining in the first half. I'm Isaac Lowenkron, breaking sports news as it happens.
We are Fox Sports.
Fox Sports 1. Tomorrow on Fox Sports 1, 2 UFC legends collide as Bigfoot Silva takes on Frank Mir, live from Brazil. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios, it's the fellas. It's easy to save 15% or more on car insurance with Geico. Go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The only hard part, figuring out which way is easier. That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Chris Plank in for Anthony Gargano. At Fox Sports Radio on Twitter, at LKennedy72. And Twitter is losing its mind, and I just want to make a clarification here because I got to stand up for my peeps. That's not Reggie McKenzie. That's his twin brother, Raleigh, who may or may not have been caught snoozing at the Combine by NFL cameras.
You can tell them apart, right? You can tell them apart.
You know how I can tell them apart whenever Vic Tafer points out that it's Raleigh and not Reggie. That's how I can tell.
That's how you can do it. Okay.
When one of the beat writers can point it out, but he's peering down at a piece of paper, and it kind of he may be looking down, he may be asleep, whatever. But I'm here to stand up for my man. That's not Reggie McKenzie. But real quick, to put a little bow tie, a little twisty tie on the Raiders conversation we had last hour, because again, it's very much front and center with everything that's taken place involving Carson and the potential of teaming up with the Chargers to own that land, the chase out there by the Rams. I love the comparison that Greg Papa brought up because what's happening with Stan Kroenke is very similar to how Al Davis did things, where he's like, I'm moving and there's nothing you can do. Certainly. But have in any way, shape, or form, have you been surprised like I have with the job that Mark Davis has done? I know the results aren't there on the field, but knowing that he wasn't really front and center with his dad, there wasn't really a lot of conversations about, hey, Mark's going to be the guy. I've really been impressed with the way that he's handled business the last couple of years, Lincoln.
Look, one of my main sayings has always been stay in your lane. And since Mark Davis has taken over, he's admitted where he has his faults, his shortcomings. He has admitted he's nowhere like his father, and he's not trying to be. And so he's still learning, like a lot of us are, about this business. I commend him for his one thing, and that's knowing his passion for the Oakland Raiders. He wants to keep them in Oakland. He's not just chasing a check. He's not just chasing for a payday. He wants to do right by the fan base. He wants to do right by the alumni, the history, the whole organization, the whole thought of what the Raiders represent. And to me, I commend him for that. And that's one reason why I wanted to work with him in the capacity that I do, because this is what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about Raider Nation, and as is he. He's trying to do his best. He said all along, I want to keep this team in Oakland. But again, when it's all said and done, Chris, and you know this, it's a business. Right. It's not just one-sided. It's not just me saying, okay, well, we're going to stay here. No, they've got the worst stadium in the league. They're the only team that shares it with the baseball team. They're losing money because the A's have commission rights or concession rights and stuff like that. So when it comes down to, I understand why this comes out. This is a trump card that you have to play to get people to move in the right direction. And let's see if it works.
All right, a couple of highlights from this week at the Combine. I've been feverishly taking notes on everything except 40. Wow. So you'll be proud of me, Link. I'm not going to get into 40
You use the words feverishly taking notes on the Combine.
That's Cubs written all over it.
I know. Ant would be so proud of me right now. But on everything but the workouts. This is the PR part of it, okay? Oh, no.
That's a big-time violation, man.
Hand size. He's got a 27-inch bicep. He's a man. Oh, gosh.
All right.
His hands are about 5 inches perpendicular from where we need to be, where Joe Montana's was when he measured back in 1981.
Oh,
I'm still not right. I heard that quote yesterday about the hand size of Jameis Winston, how the only quarterback that's measured his hand size that's won a playoff game in the last 5 years was Colin Kaepernick. So, yeah, we're getting a little bit carried away here.
Yeah.
All right, let's just go down this list of notes, Avery. The Titans are extensively interviewing both Mariota and Jameis Winston. Their general manager was not ready to commit to Zach Mettenberger.
Certainly.
Don't blame him. I don't blame him on that. Ken Wisenhunt's a whiz when it comes to quarterbacks, and I don't think I'd be surprised at all to see the quarterbacks go 1-2 in this draft. Would you, Link?
No, not at all. But, you're Tennessee, you've got some wiggle room. You do have some leverage, unlike Tampa Bay does. So, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
When you brought up Tampa Bay, their general manager said it was an insult. I think I botched his term that he used earlier. To say that it's 50-50 on the top pick. They're all in on one player. It appears, despite the report this morning about his shoulder, that Jameis Winston is that player. And if you get into hand size and all those different things, he apparently came off pretty well today. How about from earlier this week in John Fox, where there was no commitment to Jay Cutler? Now, I'll go full disclosure here. I listened to the whole John Fox press conference. He was non-committal to everybody on that roster. There wasn't a single person where he's like, yeah, Lamar Houston, he's starting at D-line, or yeah, Matt Forte, he's my starting running back, or yeah, Alshon Jeffrey's my starting wide receiver. He was very much vague and non-specific about everybody, but since Jay Cutler is he's the fire starter here in all of this. This was the story that made headlines, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised. I mean, no. Can you really commit to Cutler long-term right now with Adam Gase and feel like you've got a chance to win a championship in Chicago?
No, you have to be honest with yourself and your fan base. Chicago is not one of those easy sports towns that you can just get away with a lot of BS. He has to be straightforward. The only problem as a coach, the only problem is that you open up Pandora's box where you have to talk about it more often than you want to. But you know what? You owe it to your fan base. You commend it for coming out. Now you've got a problem. You admit it as a problem. What are you going to do about it?
Washington. Jay Gruden makes some news when he says RG3 will enter the season as the Redskins starter. Again, a lot of these are confirmations on things we expected and things we knew, but RG3's got to step up, man. If there was ever you said it, you hit it on the head. It's so true. You don't develop in the NFL. Right. You produce or you're gone. And this is I know Washington gave up the farm to bring in RG3, but it's make or break, isn't it, for him this year?
There's no doubt about it. But you know what? Here's the thing I saw with Jay Gruden. You squash out the fires before they get started by announcing your starter. Now, you don't have to stand by it. If RG3 doesn't start at the beginning of the season, you're not a lesser person. Well, you said back in March he was going to be here. No, I mean, right. In February he's going to be there. The fact is that I heard in the same breath that John was working out, John Gruden, his brother, was working out Kirk Cousins. And we've seen how Kirk Cousins has been in sort of the wake of everything that's going on RG3. There comes a time where every professional, especially in football, has to put up or shut up. And this might be the time that you call out RG3. Maybe coach coming out and giving you that bolster of confidence saying you are the starter lights a fire that makes RG the player the Redskins need him to be. Maybe not. None's a wire. But you squash out all the conversation by announcing who's your starter right now.
A couple of other quick notes that we learned this. I'm going to hold off on the AD conversation, which I still call him AD, even though he became AP when he turned pro. But Adrian Peterson, we'll hold on to that for the final segment. The 49ers claim their goal was to have Frank Gore back next season. Are you buying that, Lincoln?
I think...
Carlos.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
They might draft a running back.
Well, they've experimented and failed miserably at running back other than Frank Gore over the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know how many more times they put picks into that position when you can get running back by committee. And to be right now, I think they let him go. I think they let him go. It's just a gut feeling. But this team is trying to hold on to its window of opportunity. And I know Frank Gore is a big part of that. It's hard to let him go when you don't have a plan in place that can definitely take up the space.
Well,
Jay, am I right?
What. Jay?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Carlos Hyde by far showed that he was a better running back, faster, quicker, had to snap. The other part of it, too, is let's not forget that Kendall Hunter would be coming back off that injury, too.
Yeah,
true.
So, I think those are the two that they're going to go for. Kendall Hunter and Frank Gore are pretty much the same back. I think it's kind of one of those things now where, Lincoln, you've seen this even with Charles Woodson this year. We signed him because he is our franchise. He's been one of those faces, Now, don't get me wrong, Charles is still balling at a high level, and so has Frank. But I think running back, as we all know, once you hit that certain age, it's kind of time for it to go.
You hit 30, you're in big trouble.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
when we come back, let's speak of a running back getting close to 30, Adrian Peterson. That talk will wrap up the fellas next on Fox Sports Radio.
We know that there are others, but we'll tell you this. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to hear us.
We can't thank you enough for your passion.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're fuck too kind. Thank you.
On Fox Sports Radio.
Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost you thousands. But with the PMI Advantage from Quicken Loans, you may never have to pay those expensive monthly mortgage insurance premiums again. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I'm excited to tell you that the Quicken Loans PMI Advantage is our lender-paid mortgage insurance program. You see, we pay the PMI so you don't have to. Make the smart call and talk to one of our home loan experts today at 800-QUICKEN. You'll learn how the Quicken Loans PMI Advantage can give you more options, more flexibility, and may save you thousands when you refinance. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And this year, for the first time, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. To learn more, call us at 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN, or visit us at QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment. 352-615-5566.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me get you connected? Then call me at 352-528-0020. I even offer unlimited home phone service for just $20 per month. Just call me, your mobile Verizon rep, at 352-528-0020.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Ooh, a xylophone. Sounds dreamy.
Yeah, they don't make them like this anymore, Robin. I'm shipping it to the Musical Historical Society.
And you're packing it like that?
What, this won't work?
Why don't you take it to the Personal Service Center at the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street in Ocala? Just look for the yellow signs.
Great idea. That'll save me a lot of time.
The passing of time.
Personal Service Center makes sending packages easy.
And quick. Call 789-6683.
For the Personal Service Center.
Check this out.
New shows? Check. Some new talent? Check. The same great sports talk?
I'm seeing it right now.
Wrong.
Wrong again?
Wrong.
It's better.
There are so many great things going on in sports.
We gotta get it. We gotta get it.
From our mics
Test.
to your ears.
The latest update we got is...
Right on the southwestern corner of the square sits one of the finest dining establishments in Florida, Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. Mark's offers big city dining amenities in a charming and small town setting. It's a rare treat to experience both the ambiance and the exquisite cuisine in a friendly atmosphere. Ocala's finest restaurant serves the finest beef, the freshest seafood, premium wines, and naturally fresh vegetables. From valet parking to splendid service, Mark's offers the complete package. Check it out today. Mark's Prime Seafood and Steakhouse Restaurant.
WWOCA,
Old and last up to 10 times longer. You save money and oodles of energy. Change a light, help the environment, save some green. The solution is as close as your nearest lamp socket. Brighten your environmental future. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
You should never miss us.
Don't miss it.
Why?
I don't know.
Because we're on iHeartRadio.
The idea, the very concept, is bound to happen. A historic moment here.
This is fantastic.
How did you find out?
Search FSR.
Just repeat it.
FSR.
This is repeated as many times as necessary.
See how easy that was?
I think it's just pretty simple.
I agree. We are Fox Sports.
Fox Sports 1. Tonight on Fox Sports 1, Monster Energy Supercross travels to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Fox Sports Radio. I'm Lincoln Kennedy. That man sitting in for Anthony Gargano is Chris. Chris,
Yes,
we're
Lee.
talking about AP, AD. I call him AP, stand for Adrian Peterson. You call him AD. After everything that's happened to him, I call him AD too because it stands for after the debacle.
I like his little angle that he's trying to play. Like, I just don't know if I can go back to Minnesota. And I'm thinking, you should be. Shouldn't he be lucky that he's not in jail right now? I mean,
yes and no, but here's the thing. I too know what the general manager of the Vikings is and what they're saying. They're supposed to say that we expect him to be in the Vikings uniform.
Absolutely.
But I think that ship has sailed. And if anything, what we see in the current age, at least for the foreseeable future when it comes to running backs, contracts as lucrative as his once was is a thing of the past.
Right.
Chris Johnson has proved that, AD and Maurice Jones-Drew.
Go back old school. Sean Alexander is Larry Johnson. There's great evidence those contracts don't exist.
And it is running back by committee and most people, but I still think AP can be productive in someone's backfield. It's just who's going, right now you play the waiting game because if you're 31 other teams that are looking for a running back, if that's a choice, you're not going to take on his contract. So you're not making a trade for somebody that you honestly think they're going to release before the next big payday.
And if you're Minnesota, what a quandary you're in, because I'm sure Mike Zimmer has said it, and you brought up what the tough spot Rick Spielman is in.
Certainly.
You want to bring back one of the best running backs in the league, but has that? I guess the question that overrides, has the damage been done? Does he need a change of scenery? Do you need a change of scenery at the tailback position? And do you need to make that decision before March 3rd, whenever the start of the new year is? I do not envy Rick Spielman right now, and I'm sure, Link, you don't either. This is a tough call that Minnesota has to make this offseason.
I think it is, but I've also seen how the power of perception has influenced a lot of decisions when it comes to general managers and coaches alike. Because the fact is that if you can ill afford in this day and age to have any type of distraction perpetuating your locker room. How big the person that we're talking about is. If he's not your quarterback, he's expendable. That's the way I look at it with the NFL.
Period. period. This is a great debate that I have about Russell Wilson. Oh, Russell Wilson is not an elite quarterback. He doesn't deserve that money. Guess what? Seattle thinks he is. And all it takes is a team to say, that's our guy. Yeah. And that's who leads us, and that's who we believe in. Is he going to do things that Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck does? No, but for Seattle's offense, he fits. So that debate always, and I know I went off the beaten track. We were on the interstate.
Well, no, but you can see to bring up the point is that look, you need a quarterback to win in this league. Absolutely. You can say what you want about Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, any of the other ones. The fact is, these teams that have these quarterbacks don't have another option. You don't have somebody like a Brett Favre and an Aaron Rodgers. You don't have that waiting in your wings. And that was a luxury for Green Bay back in the day because they can turn the page and look, now they're a Super Bowl contender. Right. Russell Wilson with Seattle, he took you to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. That's not a bad formula. That's not a bad resume. But it's not a running back. It's a quarterback. And that's why I think any other position in the National Football League is expendable other than quarterback. If you have a quarterback, you can't lose him to free agency. You can't lose him to a contract dispute. Give him whatever the hell he wants because you need him to play.
You know, it's funny that Brady Papinga is coming up next with Steve Hartman. And Brady and I was fortunate enough, Link, and I know you and Anthony worked on Super Bowl Sunday. I got a chance to do the show post-Super Bowl with Brady and with Arnie Spanier. And that was one of the arguments that, I don't want to say, because Brady and I, it was almost like it was 2-on-1. It was like the NWO beating up someone in the corner. Because, Arnie and many out there thought, oh, this isn't an elite quarterback. He's got to go. The Seahawks have to go in a different direction. And I think in the end, yeah, sure, you're not looking at a 6'4", wing the ball down the field like Aaron Rodgers type quarterback. But despite the turnover in the Super Bowl, despite the fact they didn't win it this year, you're still looking at a guy that fits what Seattle needs, appears to be a good locker room guy. So you pay him and you lock him up and you make sure that he's not going anywhere else. And sure, is part of it that there's not much else out there? Absolutely. But the other part of it is, you don't want to mess with that locker room dynamic, which is why Marshawn Lynch will find a way to stay in Seattle somehow, some way, because the Seahawks get that, and which is why, to bring it full circle, this is such a challenge in Minnesota right now with what you do with Adrian Peterson. Do you go and draft a Todd Gurley or any of the other running backs that are out there and try to build around that and go with what you have, or do you bring back a guy who, for everything we've read, appeared to be doing the right things to try to stay in touch with the team and in touch with his teammates, or is it too much of a distraction? It's a tough situation in Minnesota.
It is a tough situation, and I would be the one who argues not necessarily whether or not Seattle should keep Russell Wilson, but if Russell Wilson is big enough to do almost what Tom Brady did in New England, I'm not going to take top dollar. Just give me the big chunk to show me where I belong, but I'm not going to take top dollar. So I allow you to go out there and keep or get some other guys. I free up some room, like Tom Brady did with the Patriots, and not like what Flacco did with the Ravens, where I'm going to handcuff you to this contract, and boy, you got to find another way, or Romo did in Dallas. So it's an interesting shift to see how things happen.
Hey, I'm getting paid. You worry about the rest of your team. That's your job. It's kind of what one of the arguments can be.
Well, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Hey, Link, this is one of my favorite shows to fill in on because you and Ant do the ultimate 4-hour hang, and I love that. We just hang and we talk sports for 4 hours, and it's a blast to work with you, man. I enjoyed listening to you all year on the Raiders broadcast, and I hope we get a chance to do this before the start of the football season. Have yourself a great Saturday,
all mine, man. Chris, I really appreciate you hanging out with me, man.
I appreciate you. Jay, you're my guy. I appreciate working with you. Great stuff from Milo on the updates all day long. Now, as I mentioned, my man Brady Papinga is coming up next with the one person who you need as a lifeline if you were ever on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and a sports trivia question comes up. That's Steve Hartman. They're coming up next. Breaking news out of Oklahoma City. Kevin Durant won't play tonight. And start wondering about that foot injury a little bit more. Yeah, I know it's the Hornets, but that's something to keep an eye on as we head down the home stretch for the NBA. For Link, I'm Plank. Ant will be back in next weekend. This has been The Fellas on Fox Sports Radio.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817 800-808-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking, will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Guy Harvey Checking is now exclusively available at Gateway Bank. With Guy Harvey Checking, you will receive Gateway's premium checking account plus several other Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation features, including membership to the Guy Harvey Hammerhead Nation, free Guy Harvey t-shirt, and an exclusive Guy Harvey debit card. At Gateway Bank, we will make a $50 donation to the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation for every new account opened. This is just one more reason why people choose Gateway Bank. Sign up today for your exclusive Guy Harvey Checking account with Gateway. Details available at gatewaybankcfl.com, member FDIC.
Hi, Danny Warfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Real estate is the largest and most personal investment that any of us will ever make. Be sure to tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. when Bob Kennedy, owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, will be answering your questions and discussing real estate. So remember, that's Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Call 622-9622 with your questions. It pays to be an informed buyer or seller. This is news you can use from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty and your friends here at WOCA.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line and a new spoiler and a new truck.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
This is Race Day on Fox, the fastest 2 hours in motorsports.
I want to hear from you, the race fans out there.
With Rob D'Amico.
They keep casting Brad Keselowski as NASCAR's villain. Yes, he's been involved in a lot. If a driver was ticked off, it usually had to do with Brad Keselowski. But do I think he's a villain? No, I think he's a passionate race car driver that wants to go after another championship. Not to sit back and ride around and be okay, collect a paycheck. No, he wants to go out there, kick every single guy and girl's ass out on that racetrack and come home with a win. And I can appreciate that because it does create a little drama.
Race Day on Fox.
Start your engine!
All the time. With Rob D'Amico. Sundays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. We are
broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. The U.S. and Britain discussing possible new sanctions against Russia. Secretary of State John Kerry again condemning Russia's support for the rebels in Ukraine.
We know to a certainty what Russia has been providing to the separatists, how Russia is involved with the separatists.
A nearly week-old ceasefire has been largely ineffective. NASCAR driver Kurt Busch suspended after a judge ruled that he committed an act of domestic violence against his ex-girlfriend. NASCAR's Steve O'Donnell.
Any actions of abuse will not be tolerated.
Kurt Busch has previously denied the allegation, and though there is an open criminal investigation, he has not been charged at this time.
Daryl Nell of Orlando Fox affiliate WOFL. Fewer vets than expected taking advantage of a law to avoid long waits. Just 27,000 since November have made private medical care appointments. Fox News. We report, you decide.
What's the secret to great business trips? Choice Hotels, where you'll find everything a business traveler needs, like a generous rewards program. And right now, choose Choice twice for 2 separate trips and get a night at no price. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Free night based on an 8,000-point Choice Privileges Reward night at over 1,500 hotels. Valid 2/19/15 through 4/22/15. Requires registration and 2 separate qualifying stays. Other terms and conditions apply. Details at choicehotels.com.
It is time to refresh and renew for 2015 at thecompanystore.com. Our semi-annual white sale is going on now. From our famous lacrosse down comforters and pillows to the finest quality sheets, towels, and bedding basics, receive 20% off your entire order, free shipping, and up to 70% off clearance items when you enter code RADIO15. That's RADIO15 for up to 70% off and free shipping. Thecompanystore.com, where quality has been known for generations. Thecompanystore.com. We're all about comfort.
And you can follow us on Twitter at Cannon Hartman, at Brady Papinga. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Mr. Papinga, how are you today, sir?
I am doing fantastic. Loving it that we're in the NFL Combine mode. Things are happening over there in Indianapolis that apparently are going to affect certain players' draft stock.
No doubt about that. We're going to get into the Combine. It's going on right now as we speak. We got all of our television sets focused in on these guys as they go through the multitude of drills out there. Also, this big story that's been coming out of Southern California, the idea that the Raiders and the Chargers have suddenly combined forces, 2 fierce rivals, in an effort to get stadiums in their individual cities, and once again trying to use L.A. as leverage, like every other city has, to get a stadium built. Is there a real chance of the L.A. market getting an NFL team once again, or is it just a lot of leveraging? So we're going to get into that plenty. But I want to get to the Combine first, Brady, because here we are once again watching these tremendous athletes out there doing their skill thing. And I ask you once again, as a veteran of these of this whole process, what exactly are these players either gaining or losing by participating in the Combine?
It's all about the money, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not big money. In layman's terms, in the real world terms, it is big money. But when you talk in terms and relativity of NFL contract, it's not, because it's really only affecting their rookie deals, okay? Because listen, the bottom line is this. In the NFL, all these drills and these interviews and the medical exams, okay, they're all cool. And obviously with the medical exams, if there are issues, they can really negatively affect you. But it comes down to the 40-yard dash. It really does. Because when you go to the NFL Combine and you run a faster than expected 40-yard dash, or if you go run a 40-yard dash that's decent and they've considered you beforehand slow, your stock is going to go up, meaning you're going to make more money. We're talking $1 million to hundreds of thousands of dollars. I experienced it personally. When I went to the Combine in 2005, the biggest question mark surrounding me was my speed. The teams, whether it's the scouts, the coaches, whoever's evaluating my college football game film, they couldn't figure out what my game speed was. And so they were really curious to quantify that. And so when I sat down with a number of teams, one most specifically was the Indianapolis Colts at the time, led by Tony Dungy, he asked me straight, what do you think you're going to run that 40 in? And I didn't want to limit myself, so I told him, I'm going to run fast. I'm going to run really fast. And he's like, oh, okay, well, you're going to run a 4.7? 4 linebacker, that's pretty good. And I said, I believe I can run under 4.7. He's like, ooh, if you can run under 4.7, he's like, that's really going to help your stock. And I'm thinking, really? That's like what this is weighing on right now is if I go run fast in shorts and T-shirts, all right, I guess we'll play your game. And I even had my, at the time, he was my linebackers coach for the Green Bay Packers, who was the linebackers coach for the New Orleans Saints. Winston Moss, he sat me down and he even explained to me how if I don't run fast, that basically I wouldn't be able to play in the NFL. He says, if you can't run faster than a 4.8 as a linebacker in this league at this day and age with speed being such an emphasis, you can't survive. And I'm thinking, I don't know if that's really true. I mean, Zach Thomas, and he was one of the top tier backers at that time, was pretty good. And the guy ran a 4.85.
6-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he was pretty good. And he was undersized. And I'm thinking, I don't know about that. So anyway, fast forward to when I go run my 40, I went and ran a 4.540. It exceeded expectations. Going into the combine process, I was a 6th, 7th round prospect. Leaving, I jumped up to a 3rd to 5th round prospect.
And how much money did that mean to you?
Well, I'll tell you. So I basically got drafted, 125 overall, 4th round. You compare that signing bonus with the signing bonus that I would have received as a 6th or 7th rounder, and there's a good $350,000 to $400,000 difference. So essentially, running my 40 earned me a couple $100,000. And same thing's on the line with these guys. But then everybody asks, if you go and you look at the history of the 40 and how that translates to good football players, it does not translate.
It doesn't. In fact, I was looking at this list here of fastest times ever recorded since they've gone to the electronic timing at the combines in 99. It's literally a who's who of who's that. I mean, a bunch of anonymous names outside of a Chris Johnson who ran, of course, that 4.24. And gone on to obviously a great NFL career. Champ Bailey broke that 4.3 mark. But then you go down the list. 4.30. Darius Hayward Bay jumps all the way to number 7 overall pick by the Raiders in that draft, and really not heard from him since. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't measure. Great, you're fast in shorts without any interference running in a straight line. You're never going to do that ever in an NFL game. Period, exclamation point.
You'll do it
in shorts?
Never in shorts, you're right. But even doing it just at all is very rare. Right. A receiver, you may do it once, twice a game on a go route, but you're in pads, you're being defended by somebody as a lineman. The only time you're ever going to run those 40-yard dashes is if you're celebrating a big-time run or a pass that's over 40, 50 yards.
But even then, there's a stop and go to it. It's rare that you're just running just a straight streak.
It hardly ever happens. And especially in the conditions by which it's tested at the combine, it never happens. But I'll tell you what, you walk into these war rooms where teams have all the player positions ranks for their draft preparation, and so they can make these split-second decisions because they're on the clock in the draft. I know for a fact with the Green Bay Packers, you walk into that war room, they're going to say everybody's name, and then right next to their name, you know what's going to be there? Is that dang 40-yard dash time. And everybody asks, well, okay, because it doesn't make sense, to be honest with you. Why is so much emphasis placed on the 40-yard dash when we all know it doesn't translate to good football players? And the real simple answer is it's a simple, quantifiable measurement that you can default to in a situation like the draft, to where it's the time is crunched. You have a limited amount of time to make a decision between two players, and you can easily justify or sell going with one player over another to an executive, to an owner. And so it's easier to sell, hey, this guy ran a 4.5 versus this guy ran a 4.7. He plays wide receiver. We're going to get more speed with this guy. Okay, go for him. That's why it's important, and that's why, and that's what makes the draft. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's what makes the draft so exciting. Is so many teams rely so heavily on this measurement that you get guys. You mentioned one earlier with the Raiders, Howard Bay. The guy goes and becomes a bust, and then in the other end of the spectrum, you get guys like Tom Brady, who runs a 5.2. Everybody thinks he's slow and out of shape. He's a gem late in the round, becomes potentially one of the best quarterbacks ever. So that's what makes, in my opinion, ultimately the draft process a big crapshoot.
Here's where, to me, it gets down to lazy scouting. I will never forget this. 1999, Ricky Williams is coming off his record-setting Heisman Trophy career at the University of Texas. He has a private workout in San Diego. So it's one of those workouts. Everybody's there. Even teams that know they don't have a chance at drafting him, they just want to get an excuse to come down to San Diego. Guess what? The weather is overcast.
Okay.
And I'm there. I'm on the field with all these scouts, and here's what I'm hearing. They're not talking about Ricky Williams. They're bitching about the weather. They're like, really? I came down here? So all these guys, and they got so finally it comes down to Ricky running a couple of 40s. All these guys have got their stopwatches, right?
Yeah.
You got 30 guys standing there, all at the same point, you know? And so he runs across, what'd you get? And I'm like, Is this for real?
Yeah.
This guy just played 4 years at the University of Texas, at the time the all-time leading rusher in the history of the game. He just ran for over 2,100 yards and winning the Heisman Trophy, and you're sitting there trying to figure out whether this guy is fast enough, saying, what time did you get? What'd you get? What'd you get? What'd you get?
Which is unbelievable when you consider at the time, Emmitt Smith probably was, if not the best, one of the best running backs in the NFL, and the guy clocked in at a 4.7.
4.7.
So I don't know where that comes from. Now, it comes from, ultimately, guys like Al Davis, who made that one of his number one criteria of getting drafted, or at least having your stock go. Because I remember when I was at that combine, I mean, I'm getting ready to get in my stance. You got Al Davis on the front row, the only one, because to him it mattered the most. But guess what? All it takes is one team to overemphasize that one stat, because guess what? Every other team now has to take that into consideration when they process the variables of who's going to get picked, when they're going to get picked, because they know, man, if this guy runs a fast 40 and we're behind the Oakland Raiders, guess what? And they want the same guy, we're not going to get him. So now we're going to have to dress, or at least take into consideration our draft strategy based off of the fact that at least 1, 2, maybe 3 teams overemphasize the 40. And so even though it's a drill that doesn't translate to the game, it's still very important. And I wrote about it in footballbyfootball.com, and the title is the most important event at the Combine, because it literally is.
Well, there are various measurements for all these football players, 40 time being one of them. It's interesting because today Mariota ran a 4.52, fastest time of any of the quarterbacks out there. Winston lumbered in at a 4.97. Now, is that going to mean that Mariota's going to be number one to Tampa? No, that's not going to mean anything. But here's an interesting number that has nothing to do with 40 time, and it has to do with hand size. The measurement of both Mariota and Winston, who, by the way, measured at the exact same height.
Okay.
Winston is 10 pounds heavier, but the exact same height. Their hand measurements are both smaller than Drew Brees. Their hand measurements are both smaller than Russell Wilson's. Both quarterbacks, a shade under 6 feet tall, actually have larger hands than these two guys that are over 6'4". Now, you don't think about Brees. We had always heard about Wilson. Drew Brees has as big a hands as any quarterback in this league. So should hand measurement maybe a better gauge of the effectiveness of a quarterback than how fast he runs a 40 time?
Sure. And also, if you're a cold weather team, that's going to be something you factor. I'm not going to say it's going to be the ultimate deciding factor, but it's something you're going to have to think about, saying, okay, it's going to get cold, the ball's going to get slippery, it might lose a little air, whatever. I mean, is his hand, is that going to be an issue? And I'll tell you just from experience, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, two guys that played with in Green Bay, their hands are like baseball mitts. Or
big hands, huge hands, yes.
And I'm not saying guys with smaller hands, between quotations, can't handle the elements, but there is an argument that can be made there. So, I mean, this time of year, we're over-scrutinize a lot of these details, and I guess when you're making and it's not the investment in terms of the volume of money like it used to be, because the system for the rookie wage scale is different, but in terms of the asset of a draft pick being so valuable, when you look at the most successful teams across the board in the NFL are draft and develop teams, these investments, these decisions become critical for the future of your franchises, so these small details do have to factor in, but they shouldn't determine. I mean, for example, with Mariota, it'd be very easy to look at his film and see how he breaks away from defenders when he's running the ball to know the guy's fast enough, regardless of what he times in at the 40. So, and they both had different styles, both Winston and Mariota. Winston's more of a true drop back guy, stronger, tougher to bring down because he's so wide, a lot like a Roethlisberger, whereas Mariota's a more streaky kind of guy, fast like a Colin Kaepernick.
Well, and you mentioned Kaepernick, and, you know, all the measurements come out great, but in the end, how do you measure the desire to get better, the desire to commit yourself 24/7 to your craft that you are going to do, you know, what makes the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, the Phillip Rivers, the guys that maybe don't have that off-the-charts athletic skill, but they have a 110% commitment to improving themselves, learning the game, learning everything that really is involved between the years.
That's the
one real
thing,
difference maker in these games.
That's the one thing, regardless of how much resources you have in your scouting department, you'll never be able to quantify because it's dynamic. It changes. It changes according to how you feel, according to how you wake up, according to the surrounding situation. And so that's the one thing that you wish you can quantify. But in this process, you'll never be able to. So that's why they will default to just relying on the quantifiables like, unfortunately, the 40-yard dash.
All right, we have new faces in the National Football League, but are we going to get a city back in the NFL? Is LA any closer to getting the NFL back for the first time since 1994? We got the latest for you next.
This is where your sports
Oh, he runs the floor and throws it down.
and entertainment collide.
The Oscar goes to...
It's the Oscars.
My name is Stephen Hawking.
Mr. President, Dr. King is here.
I'm ready to come home, baby. And we cover your cinema magic right here. We are Fox Sports.
Hey, Arnie Spanier here. If you're in the market for a new car and you want to have an amazing new experience buying it, you need to check out TrueCar. Man, I remember one of my first cars, cherry red convertible, my hair blowing in the wind, and the women checking me out. You could find the car just like that, my friends. All you have to do is go to TrueCar. With TrueCar, all you need to do is choose that new car, built it inside and out, and then TrueCar shows you what others paid for it. It's a fun way to buy a car that helps you be sure you never overpay. Once you decide on that car you want, you can connect with TrueCar certified dealers and lock in a guaranteed savings off MSRP, usually over $3,000. Pretty sweet. Again, if you're in the market for a new car and you want to have an amazing new experience buying it, you need to check out TrueCar. Save time, save money, and never overpay. Download the TrueCar app today.
The more you learn about your insurance coverage, the more gaps you might find. Like how you thought you had enough coverage for your fine art.
You broke my Gwenol lioness sculpture.
When you aren't even covered for your not-so-fine art.
You broke my Mr. Banana lamp.
Or how you're probably covered for hitting this car, but maybe not covered for hitting this car. Talk to a farmer's agent about what gaps might be hiding in your insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum. Napa know-how.
The last time your battery gave out, you were stuck on the side of the road showing the kids new and interesting ways to expand their vocabulary. So before that happens again, come into Napa and pick up a qualifying Napa battery and get a $10 prepaid Visa card by mail. $10 buys a lot of soap. And with the way your kids are talking now, you'll need it. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 2/28/15.
Pay your taxes, eat your vegetables, watch your weight, mow the lawn, clean the house. We all have stuff we don't want to do. Isn't it about time you did something you wanted to do? Like getting your pilot's license? At Ocala Aviation, they make it fun and easy, and you can start by taking one of their Discovery flights. For only $99, you get to go up in the airplane with an FAA-certified flight instructor and actually fly the plane yourself. It's a perfect way to see if flying is for you. And once you get that ultimate feeling of freedom, Ocala Aviation can train you to get your pilot's license. Ocala Aviation also offers commercial flight training for those looking to make a career change and enter the world of commercial aviation. Ocala Aviation is conveniently located at the Ocala International Airport. So if you're ready to start your adventure, stop by or give them a call today. 861-7484. That's 861-7484. You'll be glad you did. I know I am. Ocala Aviation. Call today. 861-7484.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services, when your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements. From damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
What are the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking? will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Do you have that will to win?
Did I win?
Because you know we do.
Yes! We win!
I'm doomed.
Oh my God.
We gotta win! Giving you the love, the passion, the commitment.
This is what we're going to have on the show.
It's refreshing.
And the will to win.
How do they keep winning?
Right.
Now let's go. Approach and identify.
We are Fox Sports.
Fire it up.
Hi, this is Jimmy Johnson.
Hi, this is Kevin Harvick.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series kicks off this afternoon with its opening race at Daytona. The Alert Today Florida 300. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Fire it up.
Hartman and Papinga with you here on the Fox Sports Radio Network. Brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% more on car insurance. To see how much you can save, call Geico at 800-947-AUTO or visit geico.com. Well, one of the ongoing stories in the National Football League for many, 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 many years, really a whole generation, has been the city of Los Angeles, the number 2 media market, and why they don't have an NFL team, Brady.
You know, I mean, you're right. It's been going on ever since they left, essentially. But, I mean, it's always a leverage play for these teams as of late. But I'll tell you this, eventually it's going to come around. You know, Stan Kroenke, the owner of the St. Louis Rams, he didn't go buy land in Inglewood for nothing. The guy's going to build a stadium, regardless of what the NFL thinks or not. He's most likely going to move the Rams, or at least attempt to move the Rams out of St. Louis, unless all of a sudden St. Louis comes up with a stadium that puts them in the top 3 in terms of revenue generation, in terms of features. I mean, that's an unbelievable. That's a big ambition right there.
You know, I think of 4 cities, Cleveland, Baltimore, Houston, and St. Louis, who lost NFL teams because they didn't want to build new stadiums. And then they found out, wow, we missed the NFL. Yeah. They built new stadiums and got teams back.
LA will do the same.
The one exception has been Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, how is it? All these years, an entire generation of NFL fans, we haven't had a team in Los Angeles. Well, partly, if you don't know the dynamic of LA, the Lakers are number 1. Even as bad as the Lakers are right now, the Lakers are number 1. The Dodgers are number 2. And then you have USC and UCLA. Then you have your niche with the Kings. And again, don't count Orange County. If from the outside looking in, even though they were still the Los Angeles Rams when they moved from LA to Orange County, they're 2 different markets.
Sure.
There's LA, there's Orange County, there's San Diego. So there really is no need for an NFL team, because if the Dodgers play into October, that's when the Lakers season kicks off. Then the Lakers season obviously extends all the way through the NFL season, and Saturdays are occupied by 2 major universities in USC and UCLA. And then if you niche with the Kings or whatever, forget it. Nobody misses it at all. There's no buzz in Los Angeles to bring a team in. However, as you said, Brady, everyone's been trying to leverage LA to get their stadiums built. And it's worked. There's been at least 8 stadiums built around the National Football League that have used LA as leverage. Now you got the Raiders and the Chargers, the 2 franchises with the oldest stadiums in the league, trying to do the exact same thing. Now, yesterday, if you missed it, in the city of Carson is off the 405 freeway. It's not anywhere near downtown
I spent
LA.
a lot of time there, actually, in the once Home Depot Center, now the StubHub Center.
All right, very good.
And I deserve some credit here, I have to say. We need to pull up talk to Lee, our producer. We need to pull up some sound bites, probably about 6 weeks ago, where I was calling that if an NFL team came here and if the Coliseum or the Rose Bowl wasn't going to accommodate them, that they would need to go down to Carson. And lo and behold, that was always under the radar working there between the Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. How about that?
Well, apparently what the Chargers did was they bought up the land. So, but then they make this big announcement out of nowhere, because there had been a whole week in San Diego where the mayor's office had been trying to work with the Chargers to try to figure out how we're going to get a stadium built in the city of San Diego. And so even a little name calling going on early on, but literally Thursday night, just a bombshell. The Chargers and the Raiders, these incredible rivals. I mean, the Chargers' most hated rival, the Raiders, are now in bed together, figuratively, to have a joint effort to build a stadium in Carson, California. By the way, privately funded, $1.7 billion. How many of these artist renditions are we going to get? You know, these renditions of these stadiums.
You can make a mural out of the renditions. But I'll say that, you know what's a great idea about it is the fact that, let's say it works for at least one of these places where all of a sudden San Diego's like, I can't take this. How could, the fan base, or either one, I guess you could make the argument, we can't do this. We can't share a stadium or a facility with our rivals. We got to build a new one. And all of a sudden that impulses them to build a new one. Well, if it doesn't work out with the other, then they got a place to still go. And so, really, it's
but neither
good for
team
both
can.
of them.
But here's the thing: neither one of these teams can afford to build a $1.7 billion stadium. They just don't have the resources like a Kroenke who's got so much money he can do whatever he wants. I think what really is happening here is that the NFL been very quiet in the last 48 hours about this whole dynamic between the Raiders, Chargers getting together and this possible stadium in Carson. I think that the NFL's pulling the strings here. I really think the NFL is saying this. We're going to do whatever we can to sort of lock Kroenke out because we can't stop Kroenke. He has way too much money. We can't stop him from moving the Rams here. We certainly can't stop him from building what he wants to build. I mean, it's his money. If he wants to build a stadium, go for it. But what they can do is lock him out of the market for any NFL function. Well,
you're right. If they put two teams, I mean, there's no way conceivable in my mind that you're going to get three teams in the Los Angeles market.
Well, they could try to block
saturation, ladies and gentlemen.
Oversaturation, but at the same time, now Kroenke, St. Louis hasn't given up. They still want to build a stadium to try to keep the Rams in St. Louis. But the NFL could say this to Kroenke, fine, we can't stop you from building a stadium, but you're not going to get any Super Bowls. You're not going to get any NFL-related functions in your stadium. He says, who cares? I get Final Fours. I get NCAA championship games.
Motocross.
I get motocross, tractor pull, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Concerts, big fights, everything I can get to come into my stadium. So I think what we're not seeing right now is what's really going on, and that is you saying, well, how are the Raiders or Chargers going to, they're talking about funding the stadium through PSLs, personal seat licenses, and it's like, there are no Charger fans in L.A. Zero. The Raiders.
But there are a lot of NFL fans. I would say this, because when I came here, I was under the impression, like many people are, having followed the Raiders and the Rams from a distance, that, the L.A. area is not a huge football area.
No.
I'm mistaken. There is as much football passion here as I would say in Texas, Ohio, Florida. It's just somewhat under the radar because you have the Lakers. You got the entertainment industry, which sort of overshadows that passion. But that just shows you how big the entertainment industry is, the Lakers and such. There is enough of just NFL fans, period, that if you get a Chargers team, a Rams team back, or a Raider team back, they're going to go to the stadium.
They've got to win, though, Brady. Look, I joined the Raiders organization.
And they will. You come to L.A., I promise you this. Because there are Oakland Raiders. Darren McFadden. I was leaving on a flight, I forget where, but he was coming down from Southwest, and I started talking to some guys. And apparently, a lot of the Oakland Raider players will take a quick Southwest flight down to Los Angeles on a Friday, because the NFL schedule, usually on Friday you have a half day, and then on Saturday you don't really practice. You just have a meeting at about 8:30, and then you just rest or you travel depending on if you're playing home or away. And a lot of these Raider guys would fly down to LA for the Friday afternoon, do the big party scene until Friday morning. They would take a 6 a.m. flight back to Oakland, go to their meetings. It shows me that these guys they love so much the LA scene that they're willing to fly to it. And so players will want to come here. A. B, you're going to have resources at your fingertips because you're going to have a new situation, which is a stadium, new facilities, the buzz of being in Los Angeles. Are you kidding me? That's going to be a huge sell for potential free agents.
Yeah, but I'm also going to give you a firsthand of why it failed the first time for the Raiders, who at that time were one of the elite teams of the NFL.
It's a different era, my man. It's a different era of NFL football. At that time,
the same temptations in LA exist that did then.
But listen
to
this.
On a different level.
At that time, baseball was the main pastime, the major sport in the world, in the culture, you could say, of Americans. That's what everybody focused on.
All right.
NFL was on the back burner, but now the NFL is the number one sport in America, when you and another thing I didn't mention about Los Angeles being such a hotbed for football, if you go look at rosters on the West Coast of Division I football teams, Oregon, I mean, I'm not even talking to Los Angeles teams. You're going to see a number of guys out of Southern California. So you have the next generation of potential players seeing NFL teams come. The buzz and excitement will be there like never before.
All right, how serious is the threat that the Chargers are going to leave San Diego to come to L.A.? We're going to check in with Judson Richards, Extra 1360, Fox Sports San Diego. He'll give a different perspective next. But first, here's what's trending.
We start in college basketball where Wisconsin is cruising.
Gosser pinned along the baseline, feeds Hayes out to Kaminsky for three, right side, good. Greg Kaminsky, his second from downtown.
Badgers Radio Network from Learfield Sports on the call. Number 5, Wisconsin has a 55-44 lead under 5 minutes to go in the game there in Madison. Elsewhere at Chapel Hill, number 15, North Carolina up 70-37 over Georgia Tech under 12 minutes to go in the game. And in Lubbock, it is number 17, Oklahoma up 45-43, about 11 and a half minutes to go in the second half over Texas Tech. Brought to you by TrueCar. Download the TrueCar app today. Find the new car you want, see what others paid, and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar certified dealers in your area. Save time, save money, and never overpay. Download the TrueCar app today. NBA news: the Thunder announced that Kevin Durant will miss tonight's game at Charlotte with his soreness in his right knee. I'm Jonas Knox.
We are Fox Sports.
The wait is over. The Great American Race kicks off the 2015 NASCAR season on Fox. Race Day gets you ready for the big race starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. And don't miss the 2015 Daytona 500 at noon, only on Fox.
Carbon and Papinga here on the Fox Sports Radio Network, coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. Easy to save 15% or more on your car insurance at Geico. Go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The only hard part, figuring out which way is easier. So yesterday there was a big press conference / pep rally in the city of Carson, California. Woo! As they had all these city council members jumping up and down saying, hey, man, we're not just getting one team, we're getting two. The Raiders and Chargers are going to both be coming in this fake stadium that we got a bigger picture of. A nice little rendition there. I love these renditions of these stadiums. They all look the same, by the way. You have all these happy faces, people walking around this new stadium. L.A. gave it a big yawn, but in San Diego, it was like all hell broke loose yesterday, leading to my base station, Extra 1360 Fox Sports San Diego, to be on 12 straight hours of live radio trying to, I don't know, be a little comfort zone for some of the stressed out Charger fans out there. Joining us right now on the Progressive Insurance Celebrity Hotline is my man, Judson Richards. And Judd, it really was a unique day for Extra 1360 Fox Sports San Diego. 12, actually 13 with your Charger Power Hour of live radio, jammed lines. I guess now that we've had a day to step back, Judd, the question is, should the concerns of Charger fans in San Diego be real, or is there still a big question mark whether this is actually going to happen, where the Chargers could move up to the L.A. market?
Hi, Steve. Hi, Brady. Hey. How you guys doing today?
Good.
By the way, Steve, you did not mention the Pledge of Allegiance. That was enjoyed during that press conference, yes. And also the national anthem. Mm-hmm. And also, as you mentioned, our 13 hours of live coverage yesterday on Extra. The flip side, because I have a friend that works at 95.7 The Game in the Bay Area, flagship of the Oakland Raiders. It was barely a discussion. It was touched upon. It was certainly a conversation at some point, but absolutely nothing like what was going on in San Diego. And your question, is it a concern? 100% it's a concern. But perhaps the most optimistic thing you could take away from yesterday as a Charger fan was our 13 hours of live coverage. The fact that we were giving fans what they wanted to talk about. If nobody wanted to talk about it, then we talk about Kobe Bryant or we talk about Pacquiao and Mayweather. But this is what San Diego wants to talk about because this is what they cared about. That's why it's at the forefront. And whether it's a real threat or not, which I absolutely believe it is, the Chargers and San Diego, they have to agree on some sort of a proposal to get a stadium built. However, the timeline involved of when that proposal, when that plan comes together, That's what needed to be expedited. That's why the Chargers either are using Carson as a leverage or are serious, and worst case scenario have just about already headed out the door. But one thing we learned yesterday, Steve, is that the task force led by Adam Day, which is a name I'm sure pretty much your entire audience doesn't know unless they're listening in San Diego or has been very, very in tune to what's going on. But that's an important figure. That's an important man and that task force. And they have said we will expedite the proposal, the plan, and see if we can get it on a June ballot or a special ballot. Timing is of the essence. We are no longer in the final hour to hold on to the Chargers in San Diego. We are in about the final 15 minutes. Can we get it done? We'll see what the mayor, we'll see what the task force, we'll see what the city, we'll see what the fan base, and we'll see what the Chargers all have to say about it, especially in the next 3, 4, 5 months.
Judd, let's say this proposal actually happens, and let's say the Chargers and the Raiders do share a facility, do share a stadium. What ultimately happens to the Charger fan base? Do they completely shun their team, or do they just warm up to the idea of sharing a facility with their inter-division rival?
Yeah, my initial reaction is you better be able to win immediately. And I don't mean you need to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls, but I'm talking 12 to 14 win seasons right out of the gates, deep into the playoffs, because you will have to get a fan base that has so many other things going on, like the Dodgers, like the Lakers, like the Clippers, like Bruins football, like Trojans football, like the LA Kings, like the Anaheim Ducks, like the Anaheim Angels. The Chargers, who do they compete with in San Diego? Nobody. The Padres, yeah, but we know that the NFL is king, and we know that the Padres are making noise, and that's been exciting. But they play second fiddle to absolutely nobody. Where do they stack up now? And the LA Times had that poll, 30,000 people, and they asked, who do you want to see in LA? Who do you want to see, the Chargers, the Raiders, or the Rams? Rams had 60-some% of the votes. Raiders had 30-some% of the votes, and the Chargers had 4% of the votes. Chargers would tell you we've spent a lot of money trying to capture that 25 to 30% of our business in LA and Orange County. What about that 70-75%? I don't pretend to be a real smart businessman, but 70 to 75% is a lot more than 25 to 30%. I just don't know how it would go. But Brady, the guy sitting next to you, don't ask me. Ask him what he thinks of how popular the Chargers will be in Los Angeles. Steve, I know you're biting your tongue.
Well, no, Judd, I've said this before, having been in L.A., most of my life, that there is no buzz for the Chargers. That L.A. Times poll that you talked about really is what it's all about. The Chargers claim to get 25-30% of the business. Well, that's because, of course, there's no NFL football in L.A. So if people in L.A. want to come down to San Diego to see an NFL game, they do just that. All I know is between 1982 and 1994, when the Raiders were in Los Angeles and the Rams were in Orange County, and the Chargers were in San Diego, they all coexisted quite nicely. There was no negative against the Chargers back then when there were 2 teams north of where they were. So this idea that they lose this huge mark and everything, this is all, again, lip service. But the one thing that really I got from yesterday with this whole charade that went on in Carson, one, it got a collective yawn out of the city of Los Angeles because they've seen it before. Just another ploy by now 2 franchises to leverage L.A. to get the stadiums they want. But there's still that extra dynamic of how much does the NFL want a presence in the city of Los Angeles? How legit is that, Judd?
Well, I think it's enormous. You've heard Roger Goodell even talk about it, that in the next however many years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they want 1 team, if not 2, in L.A. The NFL home market or their home base besides in New York is in Los Angeles. They want something they can take clients to. They want a team in their backyard. That's where the NFL Network is in L.A. If they don't have a team within a couple hundred miles, they want a team there. But the problem is, Steve, how arrogant is the NFL, and at what point will it become too arrogant? We look at how they now Thursday Night Football, have they saturated the television market so much that at some point we will stop watching it like we have. They want to go to an 18-game schedule. Are they going to try to pull that off? They want to continue to mess with the playoff and how that's going to go. They want to, stretch out the combine or move the draft back. The arrogance of the NFL is that no matter what we do, you will spend money, you will come and watch it, and you will love it because we tell you to. Well, moving a team to L.A., does that mean that all of a sudden that fan base in Los Angeles, so many other things going on with no ties to the San Diego Chargers, if they move that team there, does L.A. just fall for the Chargers because the NFL tells them to? Or do they learn that their arrogance at some point is going to catch up to them, and you could have a kind of a team that's forgotten about an afterthought and end up leaving, or some even worse, just sits there like we've seen teams do in the L.A. market in the past. They've had teams in L.A. before. Where are they now?
Judd, we're going to have a lot more to talk about, obviously, in the weeks ahead here. We appreciate the time, Judson Richards. Thank you so much.
Steve Areno, good stuff. Bye, Brady. Thanks, guys.
Take care, bud.
All right, Judson Richards joining us there, Extra 1360, Fox Sports San Diego. And follow him at Judson 1360. Brady, I want to get into this whole idea of the NFL being indestructible and all the problems that we faced in 2014.
Man, you start using that word, vulnerability starts to set in.
The question is there any peak to the NFL? Or is it one of those mountains that just gets bigger and bigger with no end in sight? We'll talk about whether there is any vulnerability, that's quite a big word for me, as far as the NFL is concerned. That's coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen,
get ready.
America and the world, it is the moment of truth.
The fight is going to happen. Floyd Mayweather, yes, Instagramming out that he and Manny Pacquiao will be fighting in Las Vegas on May 2nd.
Never say never.
We are Fox Sports.
Hey, Steve Gorman here. When you hit the brakes and find it's hard to stop, or you hear squealing and grinding, then you need new brakes. Find the brake parts you need at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Brands you trust like Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermoquiet. All at guaranteed low prices. Go to O'ReillyAuto.com right now to find that replacement part you need and the location of your neighborhood O'Reilly Auto Parts store. When it comes to brakes, play it safe. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost you thousands. The Quicken Loans PMI Advantage is our lender-paid mortgage insurance program. You see, we pay the PMI so you don't have to. PMI Advantage can give you more options, more flexibility, and may save you thousands when you refinance. To learn more, call us at 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN, or visit us at QuickenLoans.com.
Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Fire department? Why is the fire department coming up our driveway?
Don't look at me. He's your cousin.
Haha, Mr. Funny Man. What did you do now?
Well, we were attempting to repair the water heater, but somebody forgot to turn off the breaker.
Well, why is there water everywhere?
Apparently, the main water shutoff didn't exactly get shut off.
Okay, at what point did you realize you're not a plumber and you need to call Mike Scott Plumbing?
Right about the time we had the flood and the fire all at the same time.
And when should you have called the professionals at Mike Scott Plumbing? That's what I thought. Does water run through it? Then they do it, not you. And don't give me the weekend excuse. You know they don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. Do you need the number?
No, I got it. 237-2888.
Again.
237-2888.
Why'd you call Cousin Sean anyway? You know he can't even fix his own lunch.
On next week's episode of What Not to Do.
Oh, come on, a monster truck?
Where did you sit when the dust settled?
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall.
Where did you sit when the tempers flared?
And now it appears we may have a fist fight. Drivers and helmets.
Or when standing ovation took on a whole new meaning?
All the pit crews out on pit lane to salute Dale Earnhardt, who is...
Well, from where we sit, this Daytona 500 is the chance of a lifetime. Because this is your final opportunity to experience the great American race from some of the classic seats that have witnessed some of the most famous moments in racing history. And it's your first chance to say hello to the future in all new grandstands where fans will bear witness to all the legendary moments yet to come. So where will you sit this February 22nd? Don't miss your one and only chance to experience Daytona at a unique moment in history. The Daytona 500, Sunday, February 22nd. To guarantee your seats, call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit Daytona500.com.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Guy Harvey Checking is now exclusively available at Gateway Bank. With Guy Harvey Checking, you will receive Gateway's premium checking account, plus several other Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation features, including membership to the Guy Harvey Hammerhead Nation, free Guy Harvey t-shirt, and an exclusive Guy Harvey debit card. At Gateway Bank, we will make a $50 donation to the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation for every new account opened. This is just one more reason why people choose Gateway Bank. Sign up today for your exclusive Guy Harvey Checking account with Gateway. Details available at gatewaybankcfl.com, member FDIC.
Hi, Danny Werfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Real estate is the largest and most personal investment that any of us will ever make. Be sure to tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. when Bob Kennedy, owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, will be answering your questions and discussing real estate. So remember, that's Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Call 622-9622 with your questions. It pays to be an informed buyer or seller. This is news you can use from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty and your friends here at WOCA.
Is that possible?
We get a little ahead of ourselves. You know, talking sports and all.
That's what sports radio is all about.
But that doesn't mean we won't take the time to tell you thank you.
This is Ben Maller. Thank you. I'm Andy Furman.
And I'm Mutt Door. Thanks, folks.
This is JT the Brick, and we thank you.
We're so grateful for you, the fan.
You guys are the rock on this radio show.
Thank you again from your friends here.
This is Steve Gorman. Thank you.
On Fox Sports Radio.
This is
The One is on.
Fox Sports 1.
I know you want me, you know I want you.
America's new sports network.
Go to foxsports1.com to find the channel number for Fox Sports 1 in your area.
Cause if you want to keep me, you gotta love me harder.
Hartman and Papinga here on the Fox Sports Radio Network, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance at geico.com. Brady, I really wanted to talk to you about the NFL in terms of popularity. And, you know, this whole dynamic going on now, the latest with the Chargers and the Raiders trying to maybe leverage LA to get new stadiums built. And we've seen new stadiums everywhere. And everyone's trying to play the blame game. And my blame game goes right at the NFL. It's greed. I mean, the NFL is basically telling every team out there, if you don't build a new stadium, you're done. Miami had the new stadium, and now they've been told you're obsolete. You get no Super Bowls. You're done. We don't care what kind of weather you got in Miami. You're out of the mix until you give us a new Super Bowl. Or
new stadium, but
a new stadium. And the point is that that's putting your fans at hostage because the fans have no choice. They love the NFL. They keep new stadiums mean higher ticket prices, PSLs, everything else. You know, this stadium up there in Santa Clara wiped out all the fans from Candlestick. You know who bought all those PSLs? The one percenters. People that really don't even care about the NFL.
Well, that's why you got to have balance. Like down in Dallas, for example, they build that huge stadium, but they have a whole sports bar, between quotations, standing area where I believe the ticket prices range from like $20 to $80.
You mean I have to pay to stand?
But it's a great seat because you're not in the highest to highest. You're like right in the middle, and you can see the game. You can drink your alcohol. You can watch the game on a screen. You can see the big screen. It's actually quite the experience, but it makes that hybrid kind of gives access to those fans that, like you talked about, aren't into the 1%, but then they still have the extra luxury boxes there for that 1% or those big businesses that want to buy those tickets.
I want to go back to this indestructible. Think about 2014. Sure. For much of the year, everyone's saying this is the worst year of the NFL ever. And yeah, the Ray Rice situation, and the Adrian Peterson situation, the ongoing situation with concussions. People talking about they should ban football and take kids out of the sport because they're going to damage their brains. They talk about PED use. They talk about all these negatives. Then you had Deflategate. I mean, all these stories that went beyond the sports pages into the mainstream media. A lot of people intent on doing anything to bring the NFL down. And then by the end of the Super Bowl, you got the most watched Super Bowl in history. Again, this league is indestructible right now.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's indestructible forever. I mean, because the best example would be like this. If all of a sudden Kroenke moves to L.A., and let's say the Chargers and the Raiders, for some wacky reason, want to come to, you got 3 teams in L.A., that's a recipe for a disaster. Because it's oversaturation, and that's the potential, you could say, downfall of the NFL, is oversaturation. I believe we see that a little bit with Thursday Night Football. People aren't excited about the games because, one, they're games that everybody has to play, whether it's the 0-whatever Jacksonville Jaguars versus the 0-whatever Tampa Bay Buccaneers or whatever. You know, people want to see that. And plus, during the week, you'd rather see a Thursday night college football game, especially if it's a nice matchup.
But the numbers don't lie.
NFL.
I love the fact you brought up Thursday Night Football, because when you talk about Thursday, I mean, it used to be you say you're not going to touch Friday nights, that's high school. You're not going to touch Saturdays, at college. You got Thursdays, all right, we might get there. Sunday night, Monday night. But I don't think the NFL is going to have any mercy. There's nothing to stop them. We're going to go Saturdays. We're going to go Fridays.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we're just going to take over whatever we can take.
Far, unless they're completely delusional, which we know they've built this up to this point to where they're not. They're going to go as far as they start to feel a pullback. Then if they feel the pullback, then they'll adjust accordingly. But until then, they're going to go full steam ahead, pedal to the metal. They're going to shove it down everybody's throats as long as they're willing to eat it and
is there
eat it as much as they can.
It, though? Where's to stop it? I mean,
oversaturation. Where it becomes so inundated in our society to where we're just sick of it. And obviously, we're not at that point yet. Can it happen? Yeah, anything can happen. And that's where we're at. I mean, and that's where, before the break, I said, when you start bringing in the word indestructible, that's where the fall begins. Because as soon as you start to think that there's nothing you can do that's wrong, then you start to flippantly do things without ultimately thinking through the process, gathering the right information, and that's where big critical mistakes are made. And I'm not saying the NFL is on the verge of doing that. I do believe they're a lot smarter than that. I wouldn't say there would be this big fall to where all of a sudden the NFL game just became obsolete, nobody cared about it. I would see a pullback to where you'd see it decline a little bit, and then they would make some adjustments. But I don't think within my lifetime we will ever see the NFL to the point to where it's just an afterthought. It will always be, because of fantasy football, because of the excitement of the game, because you have a week between games to where the drama can build, all these elements that other sports just don't have because of the nature, like baseball, your double headers, basketball night, you're playing 2 days in a row. And so onward, and with the dynamics of the NFL, so different and unique that there's always going to be, especially as the foundation's been set, a real strong interest. Now, does that interest fluctuate? There's a potential for it to. And it's all going to depend on if the NFL oversaturates the market to the point to where we're just sort of, there's a word in Spanish. It's called empalagarse. And what that means is if you eat too much sweets, you get sick of it. That's the potential the NFL could have, is they could give us too much sweets, between quotations, something we really love to where we just get sick of it. It's too rich and we need to pull back. That's what I would say. I wouldn't see a big fall.
I'll tell you another thing, and you mentioned fantasy football. Gambling, as we know, has as much to do with the rise of the NFL as anything else. It is the number one gambling sport by light years, and that's not going to die.
And everything's gambled on, whether it's how many yards a guy rushes for, over and under, or that, how many yards thrown for. I mean, everything.
It's interesting when you have Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, embracing the idea of legalized gambling across the country.
Oh, he sees the model. He sees the model.
But he's like, he goes, how do we tap into it? Now, the NFL's like, oh, no. We have no interest in that. Why should they even have to? They don't have to worry about it because it's the gambling aspect that has made the NFL the powerhouse that it is. That dynamic is never going to go away. That will continue to grow.
And they don't want to help a potential competitor.
But they don't even have to. That's the point.
They have They want to keep them down. They don't want to have to deal with them if all of a sudden NBA starts to gain momentum because now they found a way to fit gambling into the sport. They don't want that.
You know what I've said, and I've said it many times, if the NFL actually finds itself in a position where they're concerned about how many people are actually showing up at the stadiums, Put those betting windows at every NFL stadium.
Ooh.
Just like you had
Like a
at a
racehorse?
racetrack. Absolutely.
Like a racehorse track?
Can you
Wow.
imagine? Can you
Unbelievable. You pull a ticket? Okay. I'm going to bet so-and-so running back's going to rush for over 100 yards. You pull a
Sure.
that would be crazy. Then
Prop
after
bets?
the game,
Yes.
you walk back to that same window and you cash in if you win. You might be on to something there, Steve.
I would have prop bets throughout the entire game.
Hey, that might be coming. I mean, that seems viable, to be honest.
If you're trying to make that choice between that 75-inch high-def television and fighting the traffic to go to the stadiums, wait a second, I could bet on the games legally at the stadiums, something to consider. All right, we talk about the strength of the NFL, and right now there seems to be no way to knock it off its perch. But can a single event save an entire sport? Mayweather, Pacquiao. How important to boxing? We got that coming up next.
We are Fox Sports! Join us on Saturday, March 7, 2015 for the second annual Habitat Strawberries Festival at the McPherson Government Complex. The goal of this festival is not only to provide a great time for families in Ocala, but to also raise funds to build a home for our family and our community and support Habitat for Humanity's mission to strengthen communities, build hope, and provide dignified housing solutions. Remember, Saturday, March 7, 2015 for the second annual Habitat Strawberries Festival at the McPherson Government Complex, which starts at 7 a.m. with breakfast.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
A show of contempt would be to say, what kind of an idiot can't even cook a simple dinner? That single behavior is so powerful it can be used to predict divorce with 93% accuracy. Here's another way to get back to sleep, and Connie uses this. Listen to white noise. You can try an app like Sleepmaker Rain, which is free for iPhone and Android. The new normal is to get a last-minute text at, say, 9 o'clock on a Saturday saying, hey, want to go see a band?
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 840-0750. That's 840-0750.
Let's give it up for old asphalt and a new pair of shoes. Let's give it up for a good rhythm meeting a sweet melody. For a church cookout under clear skies. Let's give it up for good things coming together, like bundling your auto and other policies together with an Allstate agent, which can save you time and keep you better protected. Let's give it up for good.
To receive your comparative insurance quote, contact the McDonald Agency at 622-2333.
Located next door to Silver Spring State Park and a few minutes from historic downtown Ocala, our award-winning Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites of Silver Spring